organization where the support group can also function independently of the core group of the Obidient movement. This we did on the public clearing, and everybody saw it, and then every one of them, we have been engaging them as the case may be. So finally, I just wanted to talk about the issue of funding. We all know that the Obidient movement is a voluntary organization, and so it must have its independent funding. As we speak today, because of the fallout of the 2023, remember very vividly His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, also with Aisha Yusuf, gave a public accounting of what was, people donated and support and all. It was carried, some were trying to be mischievous about those figures, but for his credibility, he makes sure, and I want to challenge, there is no any other group in Nigeria at the moment that can tell you that it has presented its accounting to the public. Only Mr. Peter Obi was able to do that, even for funds generation, and support. And I think that is part of the leadership quality that His Excellency possesses. And so this time, what we do is that we want to make sure that the account that will be published and be used is managed by Mrs. Ndidi. Ms. Ndidi is the treasurer of the movement, and then very soon we'll make public whatever account that is going to be used for those who wish. It's not mandatory. Those who wish to support the movement, because many people have been supporting the movement individually. All the programs that we've done were supported by Nigerians. And recently now we've had all of our people who are building trust in what we have on the ground now to say, Tanko, where can we assist? What can we do? And we appreciated that. And that is the reason why we thought, okay, it is the best time now to let people have an account that you may decide to support the movement by sponsoring things on your own that you can see it vividly that it's working. You may not necessarily have to give us money or so. You may want to support a memorabilia and you see it that is being used. So that way we can have trust. So nobody is cashing out or thinking that probably somebody's going to use the movement to cash out for money and all. No, this particular leadership does not want to condone that. And then we only want to make sure that the right thing is done. And I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very big task ahead of us, and funds will be needed to execute whatever it is that we need to execute for the interest of our movement. So it has been a very, very challenging and we know we can give room for improvement in the areas where we are fall short of what we are doing, but also know that it is a collective work. It is not an individual thing. One person cannot achieve. We have a very bad situation in our country, decayed to the core. It needs a lot of mindset, strong mindset, to be able to canoe this ship to exactly the destination. So I want to thank you for listening to this little update, and I'm hoping that if there's any question that you want me to answer, I will try to give it the best answer I can. Thank you. Yes, please.
I have a little question that I want to use. I want to follow up with what you said. Something you mentioned about those seeking office. So, I mean, we've seen this before. It happened in 2022, where a lot of people were riding on the wave of the movement. This time around, we want to make sure that we have good governance coming from the people who are coming with the Obidient movement. So, what are the modalities that are being put in place this time around to ensure that the people who emerge from amongst us are credible, competent, and people of notable character, so that we can represent us truly and provide that dividends of good governance?
Okay. What we did with the leadership in the state, we settled that responsibility of collating names and those who have shown interest, so that we can know those His Excellency will work with under Mrs. Salma. Mrs. Salma is a leading collegiate leader in Benue State, and so she's collating all the names. We will be able to provide every state with our contact, and every state, every local government with our contact to show, because His Excellency has mandated us to say who are those that want to work with us. So the modalities are very, very clear. We want people who can clearly tell us who they are, what they've done, where they are, and what they want to achieve for Nigeria through the Obidient movement. And we want a situation where we have a template, and those templates will be publicly made so that we can be able to pass through them. And your capacity, when I say capacity, in terms of your individual capacity, means a lot. What I mean is that how popular are you, and what are the financial capacity that you have to be able to finance your campaign, so that we can know where may be necessary for other persons to come in to support you where you are short, and the area when you meet up the threshold. Then if you meet up the threshold, then there are also going to be a form of a commitment to do the right thing. Not this one when you get to the office and then you lift the movement in complete fallow. I said it with all due respect. Many of the people who were able to win elections under the Obidient movement, even though it was not structured at that time, are not helping the movement. People who will be able to commit themselves to support the needs of the movement. That is how countries are able to survive and create a winning team. We want to have a convention. We want to have a convention where all of us can gather physically. We have the capacity to fill in the Abuja Stadium, which is just 60,000 population. We can fill it with about 176. Let's just imagine we have 176,000 polling units. Let's say one person from each of the polling units are being sponsored to come to Abuja. We will fill that stadium with 176,000 persons. And I know the Obidient movement has that capacity. So imagine if we have 176,000 persons gathering in a group, in a place, and then His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi comes in and then make an announcement and address the people. That will speak in volume. These are the kind of things that we have in plan to do. But then we will need everybody. We may not have to gather people and tell them to come. We are providing buses to them. Individually, we can sponsor them and say, you, in all of our local government, as a contestant, I'm supporting my people with transportation money. One by one, they come into the venue, and then we fill the stadium, and then we speak to ourselves and mobilize and speak in the areas of what will make a lot of money. So this is some of the things that we have in plan. We want people who have the capacity to support the movement, not those who are hypocritical about it. Now they got to the position of power, they only neglected the vehicle that brought them in. Honestly, we are really looking into that seriously.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, guys. We'll be opening up the speaker corner for questions. But in the meantime, I just want to move this to. Can you guys still hear me? Naza, can you still hear me? Okay. Chukwudi, I'm coming back to you. Would you like to add more to what Dr. Tanko said about how we are, the yardsticks we're looking at to qualify those who are representing us or who are going out there to run for office? And then to add to that, the finance part. I believe people will have questions, but if you could share more as to how this is going to play, that would be great. And lastly, where do people plug in? How does it work from the ward level? When people come in, how does it play in? Is it just by attending the town hall? How do they pick up their task or pick up whatever their roles are when they register?
Okay, sorry, let me just understand your question on funding. Are you talking about the funding for the candidates, or you're talking about the funding?
No. General finance, funding for the movement. This conversation has come up many times. So we're now coming with a fresh page. We're saying we want to do this right? Make sure that whatever finance is coming to this is used judiciously and accounted for, and there will be transparency. So if you want to add more to what Otanko shared about that in details, fine.
Okay, thank you for that. So in terms of, I'll start with the candidacy. I would want to put something before I make my submission, is the fact that evidence-wise, there's been conversations about to achieve meaningful change and meaningful development in any nation, it takes about 2 to 3 decades. Why I say this is that so that it helps us manage our expectations of what we can achieve at every phase. While we want a country that works and functions, meaningful change politically takes about 2 to 3 decades. So this is telling you that some things we would achieve on the short term, some things we will achieve on the long term. Long term wise, we are looking at to get to a point whereby for people to run for office, they start preparing about 2 years in advance. It's not the case of 1 week or 2 months to election, people start running. We are trying to get ourselves to a point where we say, oh, for you to run for office as an obedient, this is 1, 2, 3 processes that you must complete. You probably, let me give an example. The School of Public Policy and Governance that is run by Madam Obiese Kwesili. You must probably have completed a 3-month course there. You must have done this. You must have done this. You must have demonstrated you have done XYZ to be able to achieve before you can become eligible. So this is the long-term vision that we're hoping that we will get to, whereby there are minimum benchmarks and minimum standards for candidates to emerge. However, before we are able to structure ourselves to get to that point, what we have at the interim now is that people need to demonstrate themselves to be acceptable within their local places. It's not that somebody just sits anywhere, you've not been participating, you've not been engaging your people. They just come in and say, oh, I want to run. In certain places, it might fly because what is happening is maybe you go to a place that they don't have any strong candidates and they're just looking for any candidate and then they might back you. But in other places, we're beginning to see across the Obidient movement where certain candidates are told, sorry, we cannot support you because we don't know where you are. This other person, you might be coming with a lot of resources, but this other person we know. This other person we have been working with, we can vouch for this person. Hence, this is the person we're going to back. So these conversations are already happening across the obedience movement nationally. We would be trying to compile names, but we will be vetting those names through the local structures. And the local structures should be able to give an account of who you are before we can all throw our weight behind you. So that's basically where we are at the moment. But why I'm saying that is because it's not yet all perfect with us. The elections are already before us. Certain things cannot be in place. But long-term feature, probably by the next 2031 election, we would already be coming up maybe 3 years before the election to put out as a movement, this is our minimum benchmark. And if you know you want to be eligible, start your processes. Don't be a last-minute person because we feel like leadership should be intentional. You should be able to sit down, articulate your thoughts, know what you want to do, not the one that you are saying, I want to run, but you just give me like 3 months, I will go and propose my proposals and my manifesto. No, you should have sat down, done your consultations, done your surveys and all of that. So I don't know if that answers the question. In second question that you asked is about the funding. Now, with funding, one thing that happened in the last election, because we had multiple heads, everybody getting funds to different points. Now, there are certain things that are established, which certain events have demonstrated to us. In Nigeria, it's a low trust society. Hence, people always want to put their money where they think it's already working. We saw a typical example with NSAS, whereby immediately people could see that the funds were being utilized for something. We saw the massive input. But on a layer to that is the fact that Nigerians and their tech usage do not particularly enjoy clicking multiple times. So if Nigerians have to do a tedious process of verifying who it is that they are giving their money to, then you might lose a lot of support there because people will be like, oh, I'm just sitting on my phone now. I see this thing. Oh, it's a good idea to support, but oh, I need to now check whether this is a valid organization. Who is this? But if we're able to do that pooling as a unified structure where we say, okay, This is the central purse we are pulling money into. And this money that you know that you're supporting the movement with for a better Nigeria, 10% will be used at the center level, at the national level, to be able to carry out activities. 40% will go to your local, that's your state. The other 50%, that's 50% or 40% go straight to your local levels, right? So these formulas are things that we're working out now in terms of sitting down to have the understanding at the global colleges level. I think that's some of the issues that are pending for like next week conversation to decide on what are going to be the formulas, because when we start opening up to funding, we want to make sure that everybody knows where the funds is going to go to. So if you come in and give us 100 naira, you know that 20 is going to the national, 30 is going to this point and that point. But most importantly is the accountability bit of it, is the fact that one thing that we would insist is a regular update of every penny spent. Every penny spent. We will be able to work out, should we do a quarterly accounting system whereby every quarter on your website, on your web email, if people notice, you'll find out that some people got emails. If you are registered on the website, when it was ADC registration, you got emails telling you, go and register on the ADC. We are hoping that if we are able to increase our capacity in media in the next few weeks, we will be able to start sending out our regular newsletters on a bi-weekly basis to give updates. And that is the same process we're going to take with funding, is the sense that on a quarterly basis, you will get updates of every penny that goes in, right? So there are models to that we're all sorting out, and we will all be making that decision together. When we come to spaces like this, we're expecting people, if you have an idea, bring the idea. If you feel like it's a proposal, go on the website and submit that. That way we can be able to get the best idea of what. And if you remember my first introduction, in fact, we want to build a loop that everybody's idea matters. I am not an accounting person. There might be somebody here who works in the Big Four, who is top-notch accounting, who has been able to design something significant for an organization somewhere in the world. Because one thing I always bear in mind is the fact that every top organization in the world, there's a Nigerian there. And if we can bring all this, our talents and everything, to improve our country, then we will have one of the greatest countries in the world. So if anybody has an idea that they think this is a better way to structure the funding and ensure transparency, because at the core of it, like I said earlier, is that Nigeria is a low trust society. So to be able to win people trust and get them to donate is the fact that you must be 100% transparent. That's what we're standing for, just like our principal stands for, that digital and the analog mechanisms, in the sense that we are tasked to be your state, your local government, your ward, and all that. So immediately it automatically populates on your own page your leaders for you. Now you don't even need their phone numbers. Right in there, you can communicate with them. In addition, all of these leaders, we are trying to make sure that they all have their access point whereby they can schedule meetings on that platform. So if I am from, for example, in Alimosho local government, I will get a notification when there is a meeting of Alimosho local government. And that way I can attend wherever the meeting is scheduled. And when I get there, then I now do the physical issue. And then decisions are taken that are local to that people. Because one thing we must understand in Nigeria is, as much as we're a nation, our perspective differs. What politics feels like in Bielsa is very different from what politics feels like in Sokoto. And when you start crystallizing it down to the various locals together in that small perspective, so that they can collectively determine what works for them. We don't want to just sit down at the nation and say, oh, we want to do 1 million man march tomorrow, or we want to do a cleaning day tomorrow. We want people to make decisions at those local levels, what matters to them, what politics means to them, and collectively we can amplify, we can support and make sure that the leadership of Nigeria matters at every point, and our obedient people are at the forefront of driving that message home. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Chukwudi. We've already spent 1 hour on this conversation. You see how quickly time is passing. So I know everybody is raring to go now. A lot of people are raring to go now, and we're getting into that interaction. That's the next section we're getting into now. And I think we should do it this way. We will have questions, engagement, just coming with questions about anything that you are concerned about. Even if you have it in your head as something that you think should be done, you can turn it into a question. I mean, everyone here knows how to do that, I assume. And then when we have done a lot of that, I mean, when you bring the questions, then Chukwudi or Dr. Tanko can respond to that. can engage some more, they respond. If I want to come in, I can also come in and help with that, depending on what the question is about. Then after we've dealt with the questions for some time, we'll now move over to contributions. That's when the ideas, insights starts coming. If you have anything you would like to contribute as part what we should be doing or what we can do to strengthen what we're already doing, you can bring it after that. So this session is strictly questions, please. Strictly questions. So just make it brief, avoid any protocol, go straight to the point. Sometimes you might decide to mention who you are directing the question to, or you can just throw it up there and anybody can pick it up and answer. So we will start with, let me just say this. We have a ground rules. I laid it down in the beginning. This is a civil conversation, so we have to respect ourselves,
leaders democratically. So we in the diaspora, we've been doing everything. I want to also thank all my fellow leaders in the diaspora, those in the UK, especially those of you who did the protest in front of the parliament.
Elvis, please save our time. Let's go.
Yes, I'll save your time, but Anna have. This is also a movement of the distance. So just let's do it like we okay. I've not even spoken for one minute. Okay, we are doing an obedient movement and it's an update. That's what's the topic.
Remember what I
said.
We
need to
hold on, please. Remember what I said.
But let me just ask my question.
Okay, go on.
So no, my brother, don't do like this, okay. We've used one.
We will do that.
But an introduction is an introduction. Before you ask the question, okay.
It's not like we don't.
If you have allowed me, I would have ended.
Hold on. This is the reason why I'm doing this. We will have more than 20 or 25 people coming here to speak. And if everybody follows your step, we're not going to be able to exhaust this in 4 hours.
Yeah, but you can give people you can give people like 2 minutes or 1 minute.
So what we can do is deal with the questions first. We'll come back when we now talk about our contributions. Do you understand? That's the order of the conversation, please.
Lord, thank you very much.
All right, who would like to respond? Dr. Tanko, would you like to respond, or Chukwudi?
Okay, so I'd just like to comment because there's something I think we want to try to do to structure these conversations to help everybody, because if we don't structure, then we will just talk and it's all over the place. Today is more of an update of the movement in terms of actions and all that. And I'm appealing to people who are leaders in the movement. You have the opportunity to do the Global Coordinating Council meetings and all of that. Your questions, you have enough time to engage with the leadership. Most of this space, these public-facing spaces, are going to be full people who don't come to these meetings, who do not have this thing. So that's something I feel like if you're a leader, you have we have meetings where we discuss as leaders. Let's not take the opportunity for other people to do that. So that's something I just want to put out there. In terms of the question as regards what are we going to do? The pressures are out there. There's a whole plan to be releasing some letters and all of that. But why we also have the diaspora councils and all of that is what we saw in the last week. I think there was a conversation about the protest that was held in London. We are mobilizing to have all these pressure points because there are multiple pressure points you can use. You can use the media, you can use government connections and all of that to be able to put pressure on the country. However, those things are quite limited. We're still doing the process of going to courts and all that, but can we put pressure on the judiciary to be able to ensure that the right things are done? Yes. However, do the principal and all other leaders of the opposition also have other plans up their sleeves and all of that? All of that is in the process. So that's just in a nutshell. I'm not giving out too much about this action, but most importantly is I would appreciate if we can keep to the topic of the day, which is where are we with the movement today? Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Let's go straight to Maverick. Maverick, you have the mic. Go for it, Maverick. Maverick, can you hear me? Okay, let's go to Nati. Idoko Nati. Idoko Nati, can you hear me? Please, if you come into the speaker corner, stay by your phone so that you are ready to speak when we call on you. Tammy, take it up. Tammy. Maybe there's a network issue because we can't have three people unable to speak at the same time. Ibrahim, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, go on.
Yeah, good evening, all. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening, and my questions or contributions go this way. And I took my time to listen to the whole of the summit you've made this evening, but my questions go this way because we all know that 24 hours is very much with respect to politics, particularly in northern Nigeria. So a lot of people ask us a lot of questions that are yet to be answered. If I had wanted to answer the questions, I could maybe have met some flaws, but I just want to use this opportunity to ask you for clarification. Particularly, what is ravaging the North right now, economically, security-wise, and in terms of the power. So I just want to channel this to you. Maybe what are the parameters of the OK movement? It will be fixed, it will be that, but what are these step-by-step procedures that will be followed in doing that? And secondly, the issue of the power of the country, what are the, because a lot of promises right back from the Obasanjo, Eradua, and things like that, none of them could be able to do something like to fix it, to put in order, which is actually affecting the businesses in the northern part of the country and other part of the country. So I just want to, what are these step by step that could be used to, canvas for the votes from the masses? What are those things that could be used that we can even use it the way Tinubu said, if I could not fix power, I should not be elected, because we'll use that against him in our campaign, strategy. So, and I just want to give us a clear roadmap. What and what do we have for us to fix security, the issue of power, and the economy? So these are my questions. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to this evening.
All right. Maybe I think we should take one more question before we have a response from Chukwudi or Tanko. So let's hear from Tammy. Tammy, are you still here? Tammy. Okay, Tammy's gone. Nati, go for it. Nati, can you hear me? Okay. Abiodu, go for it.
Yes, good evening. I have a question for Dr. Yunus. Yunus? Dr.
Yunusa.
Yunusa, I beg your pardon. Dr. Yunusa Tanko. Yeah, thanks for the mic. Mr. Tanko, is the Obidient movement an interest group? Because it talks like an interest group, but it does not act like it. That's the first question. Second question, Peter Obi is going to become president. He's going to serve his term. And like his predecessors, he would move on. Would the movement still be called Obidient, since Obidient was coined out of Obi? And lastly, does the Obidient management need help with drawing up memorandum of understanding with those that may want to use the movement to run for political office? I think that may help in establishing agreements between the movement and those that may want to use its platform to run for political office, so that they can deliver on the policy interest of the Obidient movement. So if you do, I'd like to talk about it at your earliest convenience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes, of course, there will be a kind of a form of agreement. And that was why we said if you have good ideas that you think can help us, will be ready to engage. So please try and reach out to Dr. Analo as you have good ideas on how you think probably those documents should look like. We'll be very, very happy to have your perspective to it. Yes, the Obidient movement has an interest. The interest is Mr. Peter Obi. We believe that Mr. Peter Obi will usher in good governance for Nigeria, being that he has been able to do that while he was a governor in Anambra State, and with clear-cut objective and accountability. And the accountability is the only governor so far on record that he has been able to really provide infrastructure, not borrowing one single kobo, not like the way this our president is doing every day. We are borrowing one kobo from another, and yet the people are not seeing those money that have been borrowed. And Mr. Peter Obi stood tall throughout his tenure. He made sure he paid all the outstanding pension and gratuity without borrowing anything, and at the same time leaving about 75 billion naira in the coffers of Anambra State. The only governor that did that was former President Musa Yar'Adua, who left about 5 billion naira. So you see, clearly we have an interest in him because we believe he has been able to prove himself beyond reasonable doubt, and he has been able to show accountability. If we can get such a person in office to lead this country, we would have had what we are requesting for, which is clearly good governance with accountability and productivity for the country. And at the end of it all, the movement is coined around his name because of his credibility, consistency, character, capacity, and then compassion. So this particular 5 guiding principle of the 5 C's will help us to mediate some of the activities of his character even after he has become president and left the office. The truth about it is that the movement remains because it's the movement of clear-cut philosophy and idea that others will take over from what we have been able to establish. So that way, it will be something that will continue for the interest of Nigeria, not a one-time, one program thing. No, it's a continuous thing that we want to establish for the interest of the country. And the other question that was being asked about what do we have for the North, let me clearly say, the OK movement is a clear-cut advocacy for the joint ticket of Obi Kwankwaso. It's a clear-cut advocacy that we want these 2 persons to lead us. Not like I said earlier on, we've been on this matter for the past 4 years plus. It's verifiable. We've been on it, trying to ensure that we have this candidature. And so, if Nigerians who have spoken now in volume indicate that these are the people that we want to lead us, this is what we should champion to ensure that the party understands this. The political party that we may run with understand this particular advocacy and say the Nigerian youth and the Nigerian people have spoken and this is what they want. And if that should be established, I can tell you, Mr. Peter Obi traveled to Egypt. He wants to know how did they generate power and even give it to other neighboring countries. Mr. Peter Obi is seriously interested in agriculture. He knows that agriculture is a money-making machine that can transform the fortune of the North. Because what you get in agriculture can quadruple what you are getting in oil. And who will be the benefit of those particular initiatives? The Northern people, the Northern youth. These are things that I have been saying consistently. We must emancipate ourselves from the shackle of poverty. And let me be humorous with you. The Igbo man knows how to search for prosperity. The Igbo man has been able to prove himself beyond reasonable doubt in everywhere. Anywhere you go where you do not see a Southeastern man, please run, because there's no prosperity in that. So if we have a Southeastern man who, with all due respect, does not tout it. Mr. Peter Obi does not even tout it, but is somebody that can energize the base, somebody that is a wealth creator, is somebody that can account for money. He can be able to tell you that there is a prospect here. There was a situation that happened just a few days ago in Abuja, and somebody was low in terms of income, and he taught the man how to generate fund within 1 hour. Today, that guy is a millionaire because he taught him. He taught him what he need to do based on what he. I just want to protect his name. He taught him that, look, you can use this, and we need that. We need that. The poverty rate in Nigeria is so high. People can't eat a square meal. There's hunger in the land, in the midst of plenty. So, Mr. Peter Obi, we, not even him, we can assure you with his leadership and combined with the kind of empathy and compassion that both of them have, him and Engineer Rabiu Musa Konkosu. And I'm promoting this. I'm not shy about it. It's very important because these people, for me, they've proved beyond reasonable doubt that they have the capacity and they have this country at heart. Imagine the security challenges in this country. It's out of poverty. It's out of poverty. Our local governments are not getting the funds that they are being promised or being told that they have. Local government cannot execute normal street requests. Street requests in numbering, building roads, schools, and all of that. They cannot do it because they don't have the funds. So imagine if we make sure that each local government has is for 774 local government have a domicile way of survival, and we engage them into productivities and making them more involved. They will be the first person. They will be the first people to protect their interests because majority of their children who may be involved in this heinous crime will not be involved in it because they have something to protect. Simply 50% of insecurity has been taken care of. And those are the things that he wants to do. So clear cut, yes. So clear cut, you have a person in him who have understood, just like Bala Muhammad has said, he understands the economy and he's able to bring in good governance to our country.
All right. Thank you very much, Tanko. All right. Let's hear from Ken Sola. Ken Sola. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. Ken Sola, are you ready to speak?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, go on.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm very happy for the movement we have in this time in our country's life. And I'm also happy for the fact that we have brilliant minds here that we want to push our country to the destination we desire. Now, my first question will be this. The way the things are going right now in our polity, based on the current people
like he's having a connection problem. I don't know. Can you hear him? Mark, can you hear him?
No, I couldn't hear him anymore.
Okay. Ken Sola, please sort out your internet while we have other persons bring their questions. Okay, let's take another question from Honorable Prince. Honorable Prince.
He's a listener, not a speaker. Okay.
Okay, Uncle P, go on.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay, so I have certain. First of all, I want to congratulate everybody for being here. If you can't hear me clearly, I have a retainer in my mouth, so
your voice is loud and clear.
Okay, so when we were asked to join the EDC registration, I joined. They brought out the OK movement list of coordinators and everybody. I contacted my state coordinator. They brought out the Obidient Connect website. I joined. And as someone that has joined all these platforms, as a matter of fact, when one MMC, the 1 million man march, we came together and wanted to do a 1 million march, I still contributed. Like I've been really active. Do you get? And as someone that has been trying to, has this zeal to get these things to work, I think I have earned a bit of right to complain about certain things. First of all,
the group that is the Obidient group. Normally, when you join the Obidient Connect, you put in your PVC, then they'll now categorize everybody into polling units and wards. In the group that I am in, my ward, I am the only person. I've been the only person for a couple of days. The OK movement, we asked to they put the numbers of our coordinators and everything. I contacted my state coordinator, and the responses have not been as encouraging as we want it to be. He promised to create a group chat. No group chat has been created. What I'm trying to say is that things on ground. I'm telling you now, as somebody that has been actively taking part in this. I'm telling you as like an outsider or somebody that is against the movement. I am for the movement. As a matter of fact, that night that they said Wiki wants to shut down our venue. That night around 1, I was there with their Mama P and the rest. I'm trying to tell you, like, there's a bit of disconnect between what we are doing online and what we are doing offline. But I say it's not translating. Do you get, because iron sharpens iron. I stay in a particular area and we have not been able to mobilize from online for me to meet anybody offline. Do you get? Okay, today I went out to argue and even talk to certain.
Hello, Uncle P.
Can you hear me?
Would you like to present this as a question? If you have any question within this, could you land with it so we can?
The question is how. Okay, let me just summarize. If I'm talking too much, because maybe I'm talking a bit too much. I'll say this. Is there a way that we can translate from our online presence, which is a very strong presence, to offline? Because I need to start getting in touch with Obedience offline. I have that. That is what I want at this moment at a ward level. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm very happy to meet you. Extremely happy to meet you.
Okay, I saw you at the convention. I could not.
I know they carry anything. Now, so I did solo. Nothing. Nothing.
If you select, bros, you don't understand. If you select, I mean, hear you.
No, forget that matter. But no celeb at all. Come to me so that we can be relating. Let me explain. As a leader, of course, you are a leader. Do you know that you yourself can initiate others to join you in that yourself group? You don't need to wait for anybody to call you or connect with anybody. You are a connector already. If you are not seeing them doing it, you have the power to move people in. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every one of us are leaders. All of us we are doing mobilization. Nobody should stop. That's why we are not gagging anybody. Move, call people. When you come 1-2 person, I did what they were called Operation 10-10. You mobilize 10 people. There are 10 people, they come into that particular group, whichever group you have already connected with. The 10 group become your own connecting point. The other people have 10 connecting points. We are moving. So don't wait for anybody. Beg you, don't wait for anybody. Let them come with you. You create them. You know what I did? Many people, if I posted, they will tell me that, what did I win in my local government? I know those ones who are accusing whether we won election. I had eight polling booths in my ward in Buhari local government in Dawaki. We won all. For those who did not know, we won all of them. But today I have moved that particular polling unit of mine to my local government in Kura because I believe that every one of us should go back to his polling unit and mobilize. That is where the action is. So if you are listening to me, every one of us, please identify your polling unit. How many people have you been able to mobilize? Record them, put them into the group. That is the way to go to mobilize. Nobody will do it for you and tell you come and do. No, you do it. If you have competition of people who are doing it, join together and make it more stronger. Today, I've been able to move my polling unit back to my village. And I can tell you, by the grace of God, I will win that polling unit. I pray to God, the way I'm mobilizing, I will win that polling unit, even around it. So that is the way. It's not an individual thing. It's a collective thing. Go back to that ward and mobilize around that polling unit where you are and put them into the system. Thank you.
Can I just come in here? So I just bring some okay, and thank you very much for that, your question. Now the thing is, like we said at the beginning of this conversation, we're building. Now we have state coordinators, we have local government coordinators. The reason why we're coming to this space is because of things like what you said. Now, Dr. Tanko is one person, I am one person. We cannot be in every local government at the same time. But everybody can be in different places. This is why we're opening up this mechanism. This whole idea of hosting a regular update is to open up, because somebody in one local government can be saying, oh, I am organizing, I have these numbers. If you ask sometimes and be like, but we're not seeing it on our database, the person will be like, oh, not everybody has mobile phones and all of that. No, but the fact is, we are opening up multiple channels to hold everybody accountable. This is no longer a time to hold position and be just talking. There are metrics to check everybody now. There is going to be ways to say, okay, how many meetings have you held? How many people have you mobilized in the last week? As we're talking about funding, our funding is going to be tied to activities. So we want everybody to sit up and everybody to be actively working. So your feedback is very much noted, but it's something that we all already know. And this is why we're bringing in all these measures to get everybody on board and get a proper loop. That local government that there is nobody working, but somebody is claiming that they are working, we can pick them out, identify them, and this. Then that brings me to the second point of what Dr. Tanko has said. You are a leader in yourself, in your own right. You have people around you. If that's where you live, even if it's all the gatesmen and all of that, you start mobilizing. Nobody says you cannot be the state coordinator. The point is, show capacity so that tomorrow, if that person is found wanting and removed and say, okay, this person is no longer capable enough, let the people there now say, Uncle P is the person that can mobilize us in this local government and it's the person we want to lead. So it is the fact that, like you said, iron sharpens iron. We want everybody to participate. Go and create your own capacity, build your own people, so that those people will come up and say, in this place, this is the person we want to lead us. And then we can now say, okay, this is the person that is leading because he has the number. He's the one that everybody is willing to follow. He's the one that is organizing. Initially, we were able to pick leadership based on the fact of like, okay, last election, some people were very active in 2023. Maybe for certain reasons now, they are no longer very active. They're not able to mobilize. But they are not also bold enough to come up and say, sorry, right now I've got other things that are making me so busy. I cannot continue to engage and all of that, right? So at the certain point, we want to get to that point where we're able to have a transparent process of which leaderships emerge, whereby leadership emerge by the work you've done, the work you've shown to be seen doing and all of that. So it is just a process that we are all building, and we believe that everybody is part of that process. So please, my message is, don't wait for us. Start building in your base so that when this, and keep bringing this feedback, like this local government, go on the website. There is a way you can drop a message. If you are signed up on the website, you will see that in your inbox, there's a way you can drop a message. You will see your leadership board if your leader has been uploaded, because we're still uploading all the leaders. And most of these things is taking us time because we don't have all the manpower. The money we have to hire people is just few. So we're doing it. Some leadership boards are already updated. If you go and look at that point, you'll probably see who is your state coordinator.
No, my own is not my polling unit where I registered to vote, where I vote is in Nasarawa State.
So these are the things. That's what
The board, I've checked, I even dropped the message in the group chat. I don't think there's nothing.
On the Obidient website.
Okay, don't worry. We
Obidient
will
Connect,
send
right?
you.
No, not Obidient.
No.
Here,
No. Obidient Connect is different. We're talking about the Obidient movement. What we'll do is that I said connect with Dr. Analom, who will give all the data of all the three persons in each local government. You will get them, and we can send you their phone number. Why we do not want to publish this? It easily give them they become vulnerable to other people who may want to use them for other malfeasance. So, but if you call us directly, we'll give you the numbers and people that you meet. If they are not active, make them active. But these are the people that are on the ground.
Please. I'll follow Dr. Nalo. Me, I'm 100% interested, so I'm down.
Thank you. Thank you.
What we're trying to eliminate. You don't have to contact me. We don't want this thing that if you don't have my inbox, you cannot reach me. If you register on obidient.com, go register, login, you will see your leadership board. Once you reach your leadership, you can send them a message directly. You can also bring a feedback and say, I have contacted this person, he is not responding. And that feedback is what we're going to use to make a decision on whether that person is fit or not. It's not, you can contact me, I will help and all of that. But we don't want it to be, you must know somebody to get what you want in the movement. We want to create, what we say we create a structure is that anybody, anywhere should be able to have access without knowing anybody. You don't need to know anybody. You don't need to reach out to anybody's inbox or this thing. We want you to operate through the official platforms where we can work with. It is obidient.com. Any other platform, any other person is giving you, they are creating whatever they want to do. Like we said, different people can create this. Obidient Connect is created by a certain group of people. They are also valid. They are supporting.
So sorry, excuse me. What website are you talking of in particular? Because I just tried obidient.com. It's not.
S.
It's not
There's an
there.
S.
I tried Obidient Movement.
There's an S. Obidient. It will come on the.
Please, because you have to unify this.
It will come on the jumbotron shortly.
Just
Can we out of the jumbotron, please?
click on the profile. Actually, it is this profile.
Go to the bio.
Yeah. So please just click on the profile. Click on the bio. It's in the bio.
And let me just
as well
on the jumbotron add to that is the fact that there are different things happening within the movement. Now, Mr. A comes in and creates a platform and all of that. They are doing what they want to do. But anything that has to do with obedience, please, it is going to be officially said from the obedience update. We're trying to create a seamless structure of information. If we say this is where we're going to be doing XYZ from, it's going to be released on our websites, on our platforms. It's going to be posted on our website. It's going to be sent as emails out to everybody's inbox so that everybody gets the same information. Because what we've noticed is there's a whole lot of sometimes misinformation. Oh, this person is this person is that. Please, let us try to rely on the official channels. Our website is obidient.com. Our Twitter official communication channel is Obidient Update for now. The next thing that we're hoping to roll out is the regular bi-weekly newsletters. We are appealing for volunteers. If you go on your platform, you will see where it is. You can volunteer with us. You can, if you want to also run for office, there's a form for you to complete so that we can get your details. So all of these things we are creating, and we're trying to design this thing to be seamless, that you do not need to start looking for Chukwudi's inbox or Dr. Tanko's inbox or my phone number. Just go through the official channels. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move this a little quicker. But before then, I would like to apologize to Peter Obi 2027. I didn't mean to gag you, and I'm sorry about how I came across. I want to also appeal to everybody. Please be patient with us. Be patient. We're just trying to have this conversation in a manner that is organized. So in the next 22 minutes, we're going to move to contributions. So we have just 22 minutes to exhaust the questions. So please make your questions as quick and snappy as possible. And then for the speakers, please make your responses also as precise as possible so we can maximize the little time we have. Thank you. Let's move to Egbezo. Okay, sorry, Honorable Prince. Honorable Prince, go on. You have the floor.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Honorable. I thank everybody for this great opportunity. Yeah, my question simply goes to the primary election that was mentioned earlier through different words. You know, some of us that came through Labour Party, just taking my word as an example, when we came in, I tried to incorporate with them. I noticed the clique were from PDP, former PDP that joined ADC. They already had structure. They moved from PDP to ADC. Then during the congresses, they said nothing is changing. They are still going to maintain this structure. So my question is, if they actually maintain this structure, and I know it happened all the way from all the wars in Imo State. I know the same thing happened every ward in Imo State. So it means we have a sort of a hold by this set of team in our ward and in our states, and I don't know how it is in other states. So if this primary election has to be done in different wards, direct primaries, as said, my question is, how are we going to deliver P2B? Because it's going to be difficult. So when we are seeing persons like Atiku being more stronger, you know, with boldness, I think something is giving him boldness. So if this Congress was done like this, and it was just, I was monitoring it, I started from wards from units, everything we are just with them. I'm not saying they are not my people. Yeah, they are my people, they are my friends, but there's nothing I could do than allowing them. So my question is, how are we going to deliver P2B in primaries if it is direct primary and not consensus? Thank you so much.
Who would like to respond? Or should we take one more question before we have you respond? I guess that will help us save time.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, JJ. No, Ebezo. Ebezo, go for it. Ebezo, can you hear me? Ebezo more.
Hello, good evening. I can hear you.
Good evening.
I think
We have a woman finally.
not finally. I guess you kind of divided the segment. I guess now is for questions and then contributions later. So I don't have questions. So I'll pass and probably wait
Thank you so
till
much.
when.
Thank you so much. All right, let's move to JJ.
Okay, good evening, guys, everyone.
Good evening.
Oga, Sir Franco, good evening. I greet you, sir. My own question is mostly along the line with the that Uncle P, all right? We still need this, will I call it the link or the this link to trickle down to our local government and polling units. Many local government, there is no, the obedient structure is not reflecting on ground. I mean, offline now. For example, I'm speaking rightly from Lagos State now. I'm in Yaba, and in Yaba local government where I am right now, very close to Unilag. There's no structure. There's nothing. Even some of I like last month when the ADC uh, online registration started, I was able to register on my own more than 50 people, just using like different methods. Some I'll just post on my page. If you can register, I'll send you the link. Then I give them a token just to encourage. But from my own hand here, nothing, no effect, nothing. I like this. Mr. Okupi said, I'm very active also. In 2023, I was able to mobilize in different states. I was in my parents are in Ondo State. I was sending money, sending t-shirts, sending caps to Ondo State to build structure there. But there's no support, nothing. On my own, I'm just doing that. I was able to donate money to Labour Party account on my own also. That one, there are a lot of other things that like that. So for even I myself, I was expecting that. How are we funding this labor obedient structure? How is it being funded? Is it that PO is putting some money down every month or what? But because there's no proper coordination for us to know the link, okay, everyone at least maybe every month you have to donate, if it's 5,000 or 10,000 or 1,000, something like that, so that everybody can know what is happening. By now, I'm expecting that we should have a strong structure already. All this one we are doing is like we are starting afresh again. There's some structure that we can build on already, but I know it's not easy. And because I was at Keja with the Dr. Tanko and this guy from Delta State also, where we have an obedient meeting during fasting period. Dr. Tanko will remember. So we have been doing a lot, but before you know that one will start off afresh again. So what can we do to like galvanize these things structurally very well? And those that are committed should be follow up and gingered, and instead of some people, for example, we just wake up and we see names, whereas we have not even heard from them, we've not seen them before. Though there are some people that are active on underground, that they don't want to be seen, or they don't want to be known. But there are some people that want to be fully involved. They want, despite that they are working, they still want, they have the interest, the desire, everything. They are not being galvanized, they are not being properly followed, and there are no proper coordination that will ginger. For example, Dr. Tanko is saying, okay, any local government you want to go to, I have 3 people on ground, just reach out to us, we'll give you the contact. We should have more. And by now, I'm expecting that in all our polling units, there should be a representative from all already. In my own place here, all the polling units, I've not seen anybody from there. Nobody is standing on behalf of our polling of polling unit. My polling unit is in Agege. Anytime I want to vote, I go to Agege. But I mobilize people in my area here, very close to it. It is a student area. But to round up now, I respect Dr. Tanko. He's doing a great job. There are challenges. I know it's not easy. You can't please everybody. I've fought with some people, some Obidient. Like one lady, Chris is her name. She will always complain and I said we can't move forward with complaints.
All right.
Let's if it's one concept, let's hold on to it and fight for it and make sure it comes to
All right,
limelight.
JJ.
So
I believe you've
my
asked your
submission
question.
finally.
I
Thank
believe you've asked your question. So let's have them respond to your
Let
question.
me round up, please. Let me round up. I'm almost done. Thank you. So, as an Obidient, there are a lot of people that are on ground that are willing and ready to sacrifice and do everything for PO. Please, let's reach out to them. Let's galvanize and let's make sure we bring this new Nigeria of our dream. A lot of people are craving for it.
All right.
We want it. It's what we want.
Thank you.
Please. Thank you very much. Kudos to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, JJ. All right, Naza.
Thank you so much, JJ. Thank you so much, JJ. So, before we want to bring up new speakers, so I'm going to start taking some people off of the speaker section. Thank you for those who have joined us. But I'm going to start dropping, people who have spoken so that others can come up as well. We're almost done with the question segment, and then we can open the floor for, contributions and all of those things. Thank you so much, everybody. Shuka,
All right,
please, over to
thank you.
you.
Thank you, Naza. So, Chukwu, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I want to respond. And it's the same thing I said to the other speaker. These things, why we are opening up these spaces, why we're trying to set, because when you build a structure, you want to create the feedback loops, right, and update loops. This platform is for such. The website is for such, because we cannot be everywhere. Even if we open up this space, for example, and say we're going to allow people come here and tell us what the problem is, how many people can speak in a 3-hour space? If we give everybody to speak, only about 180 people. If we give everybody 1 minute to speak, only about 880 people will be able to tell us what is happening in their polling units. But if we can use the channels, because the truth is, it's not like we are not aware that certain people are not living up to expectations. But how are we able to find them out? How are we able, because most times, this is the reality here. You say, okay, this person is not functioning and you want to remove the person. Then tomorrow you see a tweet on social media. Oh, it is because they want a cabal. They want to do this. That is why they are removing me. Right? There is no objective. And that time, the people who were complaining will not come back and say, oh, no, you were removed. It's because you were not performing. So that's why we're trying to create an objective way of which these things are done. If your people are complaining and saying, this person has not called for a meeting, for example, let's say for a state, one state is saying, oh, our state coordinator, he does not call anybody for any meeting. He just takes decision on his own. He's not engaging everybody. Bring those complaints forward, and then we are able to engage and say, okay, sorry, you're not doing what's the job here. You're not helping mobilize people. You're not doing anything. So you need to go so that somebody else can come. But also, for you to be able to fill that gap, do not wait until this is fixed. You as a person, you're a leader in your own self. If there has not been anybody in your local government calling people together, can you take that responsibility and start calling people together? Because that's the leadership. And that is what will now make you become the leader that other people will accept if you emerge tomorrow. Because if you are also sitting down and just saying, nothing is happening in my ward, nothing is happening in my local government, tomorrow, if you still come up as the leader, people will be like, oh, this one, no, he doesn't have capacity. Why are you bringing him up? But if you have started organizing, then nobody is going to contest that conversation. People are going to be like, yeah. And if at that point they're saying somebody needs to come into this space, people will bring your name up and say, okay, this is the person. But most importantly is that we're hoping to move to a point from where we are just having to nominate people to a point whereby we're able to hold congresses amongst the Obidient movement and get people to say, okay, this is the most popular person, this person, and people pick their own leaders themselves. And all we need to do is make those names available. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation whereby we're in the middle of it. We're growing from the front, but we also want the growth from the back. Don't keep waiting until somebody does something. Nobody's doing something. Take responsibility. Demonstrate yourself as a leader so that way you can fill the void when that opportunity comes. And regarding the other question that was asked about, sorry, what was the first question again? I've forgotten what he said.
Here, he's still here. He can repeat that part. JJ?
I think there's some.
Okay, JJ is gone.
It's the first guy before JJ. Okay, Honorable Prince.
Okay.
Honorable. So, as regards this whole thing about structures at different level with the ADC, right? That's why we are saying own the grassroots, own your word. It's a number game. Even
Sure.
rigging, you cannot rig elections where you're not popular. You cannot write results where you're not popular. So it's the numbers. If, for example, you are in Imo State or Owerri Municipal and you are in Ward 5, and in Ward 5, you have 10,000 obedience, let me not say 10,000 at the ward level, let's say 600 obedience or 1,000 obedience at the ward level. Sorry, nobody can come and write results there. Nobody can come and say this is happening. So the fact is, at a certain level of the table, yes, we were shortchanged in certain areas. And this thing is politics, right? You have already, let's say Imo State, you had what's his name? Captain Ohaki, right? What's his name?
Emeka
Ihedioha. He's been there. He had his own structure. He got into the ADC before we came in. They picked all those things and they made those decisions. Some states were able to do some trade-offs. Some states are still fighting and all of that. But this thing, like what obedience do. You start mobilizing people, get people into the party. On that day, let you have 1,000 people standing at where they need to do the counting. Sorry, nobody can write results there. That person that has 3-4 people cannot overpower 1,000 of you. So that's the way that we can do these things. It's not everywhere we will have our way, but the places we don't have our way, what is our alternative approach to be able to defend what we have? Thank you.
All right. Let's go to the next speaker. Thank you very much for that clarification. Engineer Andy, go for it. Engineer Andy, can you hear me? Engineer Andy.
Yeah, hello.
Go for it.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. First of all, I want to appreciate everyone. I've been following what has been happening. Lost hope and I've left the country. So, but right now, I just want to encourage every one of us here. I think what's the challenge right now that I'm seeing is the primaries and not the general election. When we look at what is happening right now, like I came into this space and
hello, engineer. If you don't mind, it seems you have a contribution rather than a question. So in 7 minutes, we're going to go into contribution. Would you mind if I give the mic to someone else to ask a question? Then when we're starting with contribution, you'll be the first to speak. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay, because I thought okay, it's okay.
All right. So let's hear from, thank you for that. Let's hear from Field Marshal. Field Marshal, go for it.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, good evening, everybody. So, my question is goes sort. Some time ago, when we were trying to build the structure, a call came for nominations into national and state levels within the Obidient movement. So, I'm wondering why that didn't happen, and why that didn't happen, and okay, let me just end that. Why that didn't happen? Thank you.
Dr. Tanko, do you want to take that? I don't know if Dr. Tanko. Okay, so with the leadership structure, right? It's not perfect. There have been a lot of challenges, and let us use a typical example of even the ADC. Thank God somebody like Honorable Prince just spoke recently that despite ADC with the structure it has, right, struggle to conduct a direct election and congresses across board. Now imagine an obedient movement, right? Now, you need a leadership in place to bring the house together before you are able to be able to do things in like, okay, you want to conduct an election. If you're saying, okay, let us go and vote for leaders and all of that, somebody needs to call people to a place. Somebody needs to organize all of that, all of these things. Now, in terms of how the leadership will pick, there were multiple parameters in picking. And some of these things is about consultations. Now, unfortunately, we cannot consult with everybody at all the time. Sometimes you get into a state, a major part of these consultations were happening with people that were within a certain frame. Let's say, for example, you come into a state and you have asked for name and they tell you, okay, Mr. A is the leader, was the leader of XYZ support group. This person is the leader of XYZ support group. Then you bring out this person played a key role in the last elections and all that. I remember that those of us who were tasked with this duty were not all in this whole state. We all had our own various states. We're only a 7-man committee. When you now bring all these people together, you have an engagement with them and all of that. Sometimes you will realize that there's one person that maybe everybody's like, oh, this person is the most popular. He's the one that is the mobilizer and all of that. But you also now realize that he's not able to bring people way, my way or the highway and all of that. So you need to find a middle point. So there's all these trade-offs that happened. Now we're not going to sit here and tell you, oh, that is the perfect way. That's not the perfect way we would like to do. Our preference will be that people come together, have their meetings, and decide on their leaders. But in the interim, to fill that vacuum is why we had to use the approach we used to be able to say, okay, this person is an interim capacity. Everybody at the moment that you hear is a leader is an interim capacity. It is just that a lot of events keep happening that continues to slow us down. Sometimes we are doing XYZ, we are hoping to get to this target point in the next 3 months. Before you know, somewhere else something blows up and you have to start fixing, quenching that fire, and having meetings and all of that. But at the moment, I think we're in a good place whereby certain things have come to stay. Certain processes have come to stay. And as we are able to strengthen that processes, we will now be able to get to the point where we're now saying, okay, people should be able to elect their leaders as a collective. So that your nomination, you didn't see the name you nominated or all of that. It is because we had at certain points to find a middle ground, to find what is best workable. Some places, somebody was more popular, more acceptable, but maybe the person lacks in leadership qualities. Some other places, the other person that had good leadership qualities might not be popular. So we just had to find a middle ground to have a seeming leadership that exists at the moment to coordinate everybody. And if you can see why we are opening up all these channels, that we also know that there is some deficiencies in what we have done, and you have leaders that are not delivering, and we're trying to create a process that we will be able to identify them and be able to correct those things, and then we can have a movement that we'll all move forward with. So the point
All right.
is, we're all building together. There is no one size fits all solution here. Everybody, what we're trying to do is join us. We are creating the avenue so that you can come in. If you want to volunteer, for example, we want to create a monitoring and evaluation department. Go on the website and volunteer. You want our media to communicate better, you want us to put out more content, come out and volunteer. These things are not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen from the sky. It is all Obidient that will do it. And that's why our job is to create all the portals that can bring everybody together, bring everybody into a loop. And once we all put our hands together, we can build whatever we desire to build. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. We'll take one more, the last question. Okay, I have to say this. After this question, we're going into contributions, but it doesn't mean that you can't ask question in the contribution segment. Anything you want to ask about, feel free, because that's what this is about, conversation. Let's hear from Jasper.
Sorry, please. Let me just bring one update because
when it's done, you can bring
Yes,
that up.
hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Go on, Jasper.
Yeah, am I audible?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So I've been listening to everything that's been said, and I believe the most important thing, although we are looking ahead,
is it a question?
Right, we are looking at the future. Yes, I'll ask my question. Ahead. I just want to lay a foundation. Okay. Yes, so we want Peter Obi to become president, but at the same time, we have to realize that there are several steps, little steps that we must take to achieve that goal. I'm looking at the general election, and I know it's a big problem, but our main focus right now in the Obidient movement should be the primary election. Anything that is not about winning the primary election, we are derailing. At that point, we are derailing, because if we don't win these primaries, we have a big problem. So what are we doing? What are the strategies? What are we putting in place to ensure that we secure the primaries? And believe me, my number one strategy is that we have the numbers. We have the numbers, but we have to do the work to build that capacity and make sure everybody joins the party and vote on that day. We have the numbers, but we have to create the strategy and deploy the strategy in such a way that we're able to build momentum for the primaries. Because if we're not building towards the primaries and we're not able to secure the primaries totally, we have a big problem. So that's my question to Mr. Dr. Tanko. What is the strategy? What are we building towards securing the primaries so that we can go for the general? That's my question. Thank you.
Dr. Tanko, do you want to respond? Maybe he's
been engaged. I don't know.
All right. If you want to respond, go on.
Yeah, I can respond. So, regards the primaries, direct primaries is a game of numbers. It is who has more numbers. But now, I always say something about elections. Election is not just about recruiting people. It's about retaining them and redeploying them. You can register 10,000 people. If you don't get them out on the day to vote, it means nothing. So the thing is, how are we able to increase our recruitment? How are we able to keep engagement with these people? Because it's not one thing for you to just go into a market just because of you want to say, oh, I'm registering people. But you're registering people that do not even understand the implication of the primaries. But the numbers are rising. Now, how have you been able to maintain contact with these people to be able to tell them, so day is the primary, so please go out and go and vote? Because that is how you retain them and then redeploy them on the day of that primaries. This is how we are able to win. Now, people need to work as a collective. And in politics, three things for me, this is how I learned politics, is that three things matter. You always need the people, which is the numbers. You need the knowledge to be able to organize them and mobilize them, and you need the finances to do that. Now, as we are all obedient, we all fall into different categories here. Mr. A might be a professional who knows how to draw Excel sheets, manage everybody, coordinate the flow and all of that. But he's so busy with work that he doesn't have the time to go out and canvass and do the door-to-door knocking. Can he come in and volunteer and take that position of doing the organizing behind the scene? Mr. B is good that, okay, you know what, at the moment, I have just finished uni, I'm waiting for NYC, I have the ability, I have the time to go out there, put a canopy outside, get people to register. Then he's doing that. And then the third person is able to say, you know what, oh, I'm in diaspora, I have a few funds, or I live in Lagos, but I'm registered in Delta State, and I have some money, but I don't have the ability to travel down, I'm too busy at the moment. Then you can say, okay, you know what, let me bring the funds to do the work that I cannot do in person. Now, this is where coordination comes in. This is why we're saying all our portals are trying to be uploaded so that everybody can reach out to people and say, what are you doing? And even if you don't see other people, the truth is once you start doing the work, people will attract to you. People will reach out to you. People will know you. For example, there was this lady in Port Harcourt who was doing, well, I can't remember her name. Peter B. Main Street, right? Nazar, I think that's her name.
Peter B. Main Street, yeah.
Yeah. So she did the work, and all of a sudden people identified her and people are reaching out to her, people are working with her. So this is the thing, that we need to increase the numbers of obedience who are P2B leaning in the Labour Party, in ADC. But most importantly, it is not just to improve the numbers. We must retain these people. We must have a way to contact them. We must have a way to reach them. And that's why we're encouraging people. And register people, not just on the ADC, register them on the obedience.com website, so that we can also be able to send them SMS and all of that when it's time, because that's how we retain them. We have their data points. We're able to now say, okay, send a message to them and tell them, see, your ADC primaries is on Tuesday. Please come out and vote. This is what we need to do. It is all about organizing, and at various levels, this organizing matters. While we are building our structure, we can run and chew gum at the same time. We don't need to wait until all our structures are well 100% fortified. At that point, we will not say, oh, it's now time to go. No, we can, while we're building the structures, we can continue to act in our capacity, like B2B's main chief. Tomorrow, if she becomes the mobilizer for the South. Nobody will argue that because everybody has seen the work that she is doing and things like that. So this is what we are trying to marry. We're trying to marry doing the work, taking the initiative yourself, and demonstrating yourself to be a leader so that tomorrow you can be at the one who is leading and charging from the front. I don't know if that's helpful to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Analo. All right, we are moving into the next segment, 5 minutes late. Mag, do you want to take it up? Hello, Mag.
I can take it.
All right.
Hold on. So, thank you everybody for all your questions thus far. If we remember, Chuka had mentioned earlier that the stage is still open for people to ask questions. So please, in as much as we are in the suggestions corner of the space, people can still ask their questions if they have them. We are going to take a new roster of hands. The first hand I see up is Sea King. So there's Sea King and there's P2B 2027. So we'll take it that
There's
way.
Coyote, there's Chris. So
So
the four of them.
Oh, I don't see their hands. I'm
But
sorry.
I think we promised. We promised engineer. I can't remember his name. That he would be the first. I can't find him on the space anymore.
Engineer, are you still here? I can't find him on the space anymore. I remember him, but I can't see him here.
Egwezo also passed the mic, saying that she would wait for contribution segment. So I think we should start with Egwezo. Then after that,
all right, let's take the lady.
Yeah.
Ebezamo, please, you have the floor. Then Sea King, then Peter Bickinson 7, then Kolade, then Chris. Thank you.
Ladies on the space, please come into this conversation. Let's not make it a man's affair, please. Feel free to come in and contribute to the conversation. You're part of the movement. Your voice matters. Who?
To everyone on the space.
Ebwezo, welcome.
Thank you. And where do I start from? Let me just start from the Obidient update handle that is up. Appreciation for trying to give us something to hold on to, something we can get our direct information from. But I just wanted to quickly point out certain things. Like, I feel like we are a movement, and I feel like we should be acting as a pressure group, in which I don't see, right? Before now, there were lots of misinformation that went on this space, and we try to fight that on our own.
Hello, Egwezo, we can't hear you anymore. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, go on. When you say this space, do you mean this Twitter space or on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm talking about Twitter space, like on Twitter.
Okay, go on, please.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. Like, there was a lot of misinformation when the ADC registration started. We were under the impression that we had 5 days or thereabout to run that registration because the names were going to be submitted, and basically there was no clear cut information to tell us that that was actually false. We're trying to do all we could to actually get people registered into the ADC. We had a lot of things, and at that point in time I felt the Obidient leadership should have come out to actually tell us what was actually obtainable. And then at this point in time, we just have a few days to go, and the issue on the front burner is the issue of getting people registered into the ADC. For me, I feel it is quite late. I think what we should be doing now is basically mounting pressure. Yeah, a movement is supposed to be a pressure group. We're supposed to be mounting pressure on the ADC that this is what we want. Everybody know the ticket that should actually sell or that can fly. We all know that is the obese ticket, right? So the issue of primaries at this point in time does not sit well with me. I feel we should be able to mount pressure. We should be able to call for rallies to say, ADC, this is what we want. Yeah. we should be able to put that pressure. And then with the issue of, Amipiton and, other things that have, gone, wrong, I feel we should have been able to mount pressure, though it's not late. Those are the things me I prefer to, see at this point in time. I feel we're late, but at the same time, we can still do something, right? Can we, take up that, real position as a pressure group and actually mount pressure and not come out at this point in time to say, oh, let's get mobilized into the ADC, let's prepare for primary. I will say it over and over again. I don't trust any primaries that will be conducted because, for crying out loud, this is Nigeria, and then we can expect anything. And then we know how our politicians operate. And then one concern I've always had in my mind was the fact that the ADC registration portal is not very open, like it's not really transparent. You can't see the registered numbers. We only bank on what people tell us that, oh, so state has 1,000, people registered. So state have 500,000. These things are supposed to be open. Like, I'm supposed to get into the ADC portal and be able to see the number of registered members according to their state. That way I'll be able to have confidence that, oh, if they decide to go for primary, I know, see, no mago. But something that is left for, oh, is only the back end guys that can actually see this number. That raises question and that raises concern. And I feel like every well-meaning Nigerian and every obedient, should have that concern, right? So for me now, pressures we are supposed to be mounting on the ADC is to force the ADC to zone their ticket to the south. Yeah, that way Atiku is off, off that block, and we don't have to, engage in that particular conversation of trying to get him to step down. If we're able to, get ADC to zone to the south, automatically that puts an end to Atiku's, ambition and whatever. For me, these are the things I feel we should be doing at this point in time. I
All
think
right.
I'll leave it here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Zemo. Where's Zemo? All right, let's go to Peter Obi 2027.
So how many of them are we taking?
Hey, Chuka, can you guys hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can hear you, Mark. Thank God, finally you
Okay,
are.
much better.
Finally, you're
Yeah,
plugged.
thank you. Sorry. Yeah. All right, let's keep it going. Go ahead, sir. I
Do
just
not
wanted
believe
to
that I
make sure.
cannot see him. I can't see him. Welcome back, Mag.
I can't see myself too, but I don't know what's going on today. Let's just keep it
Oh,
going. Sorry,
all
guys.
right. Peter Obi 2027. Go for it.
I thought it was seeking, but anyway, let me go ahead. Thank you once again, Elvis Chinwosu here. As someone who have devoted my time and money since 2022 in seeing Peter be elected as president, I really want to sincerely thank all the political activists, Obedience, who use their time on social media, different platforms, spaces, trying to shape the narrative, amplify the failures of this government, and actually being on the trenches, fighting for P2B to emerge the candidate. I really recognize your efforts. It's what you do every day on Twitter. You cannot actually, it's priceless. I'm very happy we can still ask questions. My question is this: if the Supreme Court refuses to recognize the faction, the leadership faction of David Mark in ADC, what actions will the Obedient movement do? Remember what I'm saying. I'm saying now the Obedient movement. Because I think for anybody who has been following the Nigerian political space, it is quite clear that the democracy as we see it today is quite under a big wahala. Let me use it that way. Today, the government have captured the judiciary, the INEC, and the security services. So, do we have to meet to find out how we can amplify and tell the world what is happening? Because it's quite clear that the government wants to cancel P2B from being on the ballot. So that's one question I would like us to know. And maybe we should also use our time in asking the Supreme Court to give a judgment as quick as possible. I understand about the battles, about the primaries, the need for a consensus candidate, and every other thing. But that becomes secondary if we are not able to have a platform to fill P2B on the ballot. Thank you very much. Stay strong, everybody. Let's keep making it uncomfortable for the bandits in power.
Okay, so once again, Peter between 27, I still believe that such questions, you should be part of the people answering this question because you are a leader of the movement. So I don't know why you're bringing this question to us. But that being said, I think that certain things are better left and managed internally, because if we say it on Twitter space of what we are going to do, then it's no longer a strategy and all of that. But are there going to be actions? Are there conversations ongoing? Yes, there are conversations ongoing about these things. What will be done? All you, at least we all have belief in our principle that at certain times where the mantle has come to him to make decisions, he has made the right decisions. So we wouldn't believe that at the moment that he doesn't have option A, option B, option C. There are options on the table. But as you know, if we put those cards on the table, then our ever ready current government of the day would run and go and get an injunction about it, because they get injunctions against injunctions right now in Nigeria. So please, if you permit me, let's leave that to our chest, and when the time comes, we will be doing the right thing and everybody will be involved. In
Okay.
regards to what Ebezoma, sorry, I didn't get the name, I've forgotten, said as regards what we need to do in terms of putting pressure, it still boils down that we can run and chew gum at the same time. We cannot put all our eggs in one basket. We need to be ready for option A if we get to the direct primaries. Are we also putting pressure? Yes. Well, generally, every day you're seeing the pressure out there that this is what needs to be done. It's the time that equity should be respected. There needs to be justice in Nigeria. We want competence, compassionate leadership, and all of that. So there's pressure mounting at different points. Are we going to try to turn up the frequency? Yes, we can do that. But at the same time, we wouldn't now leave, like His Excellency will say, you cannot leave your store and start running after a thief, right? We cannot say while we are trying to mount pressure, we're not going to start mobilizing more numbers into the party. We go to direct primaries, we wouldn't have the numbers. So it's important that we are doing both sides of the thing. Thank you. Dr. Tanko is back now, so he can come.
All right. Welcome back, Dr. Tanko. Let's hear from C King. C King, go for it.
All right, thank you. So what I have questions and contribution, and I like to. I understand the last answer regarding what P2B 2027 asked, but again, our work is quite cut out for us. Movements are not organizations, and the advantages of movements are because they can fight from different fronts, which means they can be multitasking. In the sense that is narrative control, message control, and media influence. And the obedient movement is unique because the resources, you have so much resources that you're not paying for. Let, let's, let's just be factual about it. A lot of us put in a lot of time on it. Why I'm saying this is this. We have been, and it has improved a lot. We've been a little bit short on media influence control, narrative, managing the narratives. How do you do this? Like what P2B 2027 said, yes, there are certain things you don't say outside. But a lot of people here are foot soldiers. A lot of things have been heard and changed because of the way these foot soldiers have amplified it. And it has to be noted that the idea, if you see the pattern, the idea is just like Mr. Peter B stated the last council they had on him on the leadership forum is going on, and it's going to deepen. And it's not going to, nobody's going to take it serious until we start magnifying those things. And how you magnify it is your media outreach, which is our media outreach is struggling. And on the side of Mr. Peter B too, needs to be done. A lot of work needs to be done. And the Supreme Court thing, like I said, you can do certain things without, you're not impugning anybody. You're not saying you're showing your cards, but this is the right thing. Why do you want to give me judgment too close to when I can? And why do I need to start asking questions when it's getting too close because I don't want somebody to think this way? And why do I need Dr. Tanko to ask that question when I can ask it? Somebody else can ask it. That's why we have the movement. Some of these ideas can be kind of something we put down to us. Okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And this is the reality. The truth is that they don't want him on the ballot. And there is a way, if these things, and just like the Electoral Act, we wake up late. Some people like me advocated it long time ago. We put in the pressure, we start late, you get a late result. It becomes tight. Where I'm gonna let me leave that one there because I think we should rethink that answer and also
Oh, sorry, that was an error. Sorry. Please go on.
I think we should rethink that answer, how we manage the narrative, and allow some people, like as a movement, remind some people something we need to do that is going on, not that we're showing what we have to do. Okay, and so that it doesn't look like, oh, we are planning for this, but this is the reality, the concern that everybody has. The second thing I need to talk about is the reality of the structure. Some time ago, I was in Nigeria. I had the interest of running. For personal reasons, I have shielded that interest. But one of the uphill tasks I faced, I'm from Imo State, I know, is the structure. And the structure that was already existing, we can't just say, oh yeah, because don't worry, we are on the table. We are part of the table. If there is an existing structure, there has to be a way to bring us some of us in. One of the conversations that I had is because of my role in 2022 and 2023. Because the owner of the existing structure was out of favor from some of us, from certain inclination he had there. Now they own the current structure. People like us who did the work, after we declared interest, meetings were held, and with the word chairman we said, oh no, it has been zoned to this place, just coincidentally after we declared our interest. You can, if we're coming in as an, there has to be something to give. Yeah, I'm not saying you can get all of it, but you have to sit on the table for your own people. Not for me now, for some other people who are interested. And it's specifically, like an honorable mention here, Imo State was one of them. I am from Imo State. So that's another one. I also think we should rethink that answer. Second, another thing I want to also bring to your
CK, please, would you take just 60 seconds more, please, so we can have other speakers?
Okay,
Thank you.
sorry about that. So another thing that I also want to bring to your attention is the issue of the people coming into our party, the modalities of recruitment. There's going to be an uptick. Again, there is a political gain there. There is also a political, ideological issues, because some of these lawmakers now from the one party state this thing may be looking into us, but these are also the people who pass the laws that's making it difficult. Should we wait, or should we proactively think towards those modalities before that inflow start coming in, and then know how we can make the best out of it at the moment? Thank you.
Thank you very much, CK. Profound points. All right, Kolade, please go for it.
All right, thank you so much, Chuka. I greet everyone. Okay, so mine is a question though, and I think I have about 3 questions. So for the first one, my brother Analo, thank you so much for all you do, bro. So this is it. You keep referencing these 20 years, 20 years, 20 years, and each time you say this thing triggers me. I'm like, what is Analo talking about? Like, please, can you shed more light? Are you saying that we have 20 years to fight this fight? Like, for someone like me, I don't have 20 years, oh man. So I'm like, can you please expatiate on it so that we don't give people this impression that, oh, you've already given up. Like we've already given up before we even started the race. I think you should like throw more light so that people do not interpret what exactly you meant by that 20 years of a thing. So then the second one is this, please. Can you please give us a process to recall our leaders that we voted in? We voted them, so you cannot just remove them. Okay, so can you give us a process for recall? So I know if Duke of Ife, one of my leaders, misbehave tomorrow, we have a process in place to say, oh, because we voted you, we gave you the power. We that gave you the power wants to recall back that our power because we can see that you are misusing our power. Please, can you create that for us? And the last one, when are we going to have the remaining seat of the collegiate system for the diaspora filled up? One person is in Asia, the whole of Asia. One person, and that single person decide for the whole of Asia. 3 people for Europe. Europe, how many countries? 3 people. And Americas. So when are we going to have this filled up so that we know we have like elected people representing us? So that it's not just these few individuals, and when we don't like what they say, they still come and tell us to our face that because they are our leaders, there's nothing we can do about it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
You can recall them too.
So let's point. So the first pin.
Kolade, you can record them.
Okay.
When I say that it takes 2 decades, 2 to 3 decades to achieve meaningful development, I'm not saying we will have to stay 20 to 30 years to win an election. We did enormously well in about 11 months in the last election. We started, I think His Excellency declared sometime in April, if I can remember, and the election held somewhere around February. So thereabouts 11 or 10 months. We did an amazing stuff. We've continued to build on that. But when I say 20, 30 years, it's for us to understand the principle of which we are building. So, for example, when we're saying we're trying to set certain processes, some people will say, oh, this process, no, it's too short, it's too low, it's this. So, but the whole idea is that you're building a process that tomorrow we don't have to come back and start doing it again. We're building a process that we can hand over to the next generation that come after us. If we create an accountability template and say, no, sorry, for you to withdraw money, you have to complete this document from start to finish. Somebody might see it like, oh, why are you stressing us? This is this thing. But what we're trying to do is build processes that last, that will outlive all of us. It's not something that we're just saying, use it today, discard it tomorrow. In the interim, are there certain places that we will make special interventions to be able to achieve results immediately? Yes. But when we are building the process, it's more about being able to contextualize that the entire process is being built to last that long. So I hope that brings the clarity. We are not saying we would wait for 20 years to win an election, but whatever we are building, we should build with a mindset that it needs to go that long. because we don't just want to win one election. We want to continue winning about 4 to 6 cycles of election and even more. So we want to build a way of organizing, seeking. As regards the ADC, some of the challenges we had in certain places of the ADC is that some people amongst ourselves were used against us. So you'll find out that you will be saying, oh, Obedience are not represented, whereas somebody from your own Obedience camp has gone to negotiate. These are all processes. So it's not like we're saying everything is perfect, but we are aware of these things and we're trying to make sure that we create processes to stop them. You will see somebody just because of, oh, you have a quarrel with this person, you are saying, no, this person can no longer be in my this thing. Because maybe, for example, this person is a state coordinator, and all of a sudden, maybe there is somebody who is a senatorial district coordinator who is very vocal. Then all of a sudden, that person wakes up and says, no, I don't want this person again in my team. Those are things you want to protect people against. And that's why we're saying, have a critical mass of people meet. This is why we're bringing this structure to say every bi-weekly there is a meeting. Now, when you can standardize these meetings, it means that if you come to that meeting and you move a motion that this person is incompetent and everybody in that meeting decides the person is incompetent, the person goes. But we need to create those processes first. Otherwise, what is going to happen is that we will create the same gun that will be used against us tomorrow. We must create the processes to be able to make critical decisions as a collective. That brings me to the other part when you say the diaspora. The diaspora leadership, it is for all of you in diaspora. It is not for Chukudi or Dr. Tanko. It is you need to, the people we have at the interim phase need to start mobilizing, start having the meetings, and everybody starts engaging. Then we can come in and say, okay, it is time to grow. And these are the things that, for example, if you find yourself in Germany, and you know that you have what it takes to mobilize in Germany, start mobilizing. And by the time we come to this conversation of who leads in Germany, the German people will say, this person is our leader and we should work with him. So it's very simple. So we are not there yet, but that is the time that those people who are already there should start organizing and mobilizing. And then we can now have this meeting. So that when we call for these meetings, we don't have a few persons, because why we had to halt the process is that it felt like we're seeing the same group of people all the time. We want to have an extensive group of representation. One thing I've already continued to emphasize is that there is a circle of influence. Use your circle of influence. Get everybody involved. And collectively, let us build this movement. Don't make it like, oh, this is what Anna Law has said, or this is what Dr. Tanko has said. No. Collectively is why we're creating these platforms. And once these platforms exist, everybody will be part of making those decisions. The quicker we can get it done, the more we can get the results. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chukwudi. Okay, let's come back to Abiodun. After Abiodun, we'll go to Chris. Okay, Abiodun can't hear me. Chris, go on.
Okay, yeah, can Chris go? I'm just trying to round up something here real quick.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Chris. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Tanko, if you want to chime in at any point, please feel free. All right, Chris, go for it, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Please, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, awesome. So, before I came off, some persons were, reaching out to me, like, Chris, please, this is not the time and place. They just tone it down. So, this is Chris, and for those who know me, I don't know how to sugarcoat. I don't know how to sound politically correct. I say things the way they are, but I'm going to try as much as possible to tone it down, but no promises, because I'll try to say some truth and I'll try to leave some things out of the public.
So if I can if I can intervene here, don't tone anything down. Bring it on 100%. Let us solve the problems. Let's not say we're toning it down. If you want to bring it, let us solve the problems. If you think there are problems, say it 100%. We're all here to solve problems. We're not here to sugarcoat and love ourselves. What we're here for is food that works. Thank you.
That's right. But the most important thing is that you make it brief so that we can also accommodate other people who want to speak. Please go on.
All right. Like I said, some persons are already working on having a separate meeting, uh, I will not say some things because it would be too dirty for. So, anyways, I think we are making a mistake, right? We are doing our best, but I think we're making a mistake. We forget one thing, which is very, very vital, that the obedient movement has, it's not just one peculiarity. You know how you say something is peculiar about a person, you talk about one thing that makes you peculiar about. The obedient movement has a plethora of things that makes it peculiar. And asking a set of people, and I have nothing against those who have been putting in the work, to find a way forward for us, I see it as I don't think it's going to be effective because whether you like it or not, we all don't think the same. We are not, first, we are not a political party. It's difficult for us to think the same way. And that's one peculiarity of the obedient people. There are plethora of others, right? Having a few people, have millions of people to see things through their own lens, that's not going to work, right? Let's say some truths, guys. I think we're better off, where we are coming from before we started talking about all this whole structuring thing. I think we're better off. And I think we have made a huge mess of this whole structuring thing. Yes, we have. Uh, Maybe I'm wrong, right? Uh, but one thing is for sure, we were better off without a structure compared to today. And I'm saying this, right, because I look across the existing leadership structure, and I'm going to speak only for diaspora, right? I don't even know what's the structure back home. And I'm sorry to say this, but I look at it and I see what I see in it, is just some persons, who care about power first. Me. You care about power first, right? And this whole main character syndrome, that thing out of me, right? It's not going to work that way, right? Also, with all due respect to everybody, including myself, due respect to myself, I think we talk a lot of game. We do. For example, what we are doing this, we talk a lot of game, and it sounds so good. To me, good sound bite. We talk a lot of game with no action, maybe little or no action. Dr. Tanko, this is not the first time I will be listening to you on space. You reel out a lot of numbers, you talk these high games, yeah, but when we need those numbers to get organized, to get tasks done, we are nowhere to be found. And I can prove it. I can go on a side tangent to prove it. We saw it with the GOMED. GOMED. We had spaces. We spoke and spoke and spoke and spoke. What did we do with it? Nothing. It was all talks, no actions. And also, right before the Anambra, I think it was precisely on Peter Obi's birthday, you brought, I don't know, in fact, I think they said they were all state coordinators, and they all came on space one by one, reeling out these numbers. We have 2,000 watermelons there, 3,000 pineapple here, 4,000 canopies there. And I was like, Anambra is going to be, bullseye. But when Anambra by-elections came around, there was no numbers to work with, and I was wondering, where are all those numbers? Where are all those numbers, right? I'll give a few examples, guys. I mean, even when you yourself, you just said just now that there are local government coordinators you can chat with, state government. But where are these people when, for example, PO is going to go, say, to Ebonyi? If we truly have these people, why is it so difficult to get these people to get to work when PO is on the ground? Ask yourself the question, why is it so difficult? Is it because we are poor in communication? Maybe there's even lack of communication, right? Or maybe some persons don't just want you to, interact with His Excellency, or they don't just want you to have a sense of collaboration. You don't have to do all of that. Don't come close. Why do we always have that? Look, we are talking about, look, guys, don't get it twisted. We don't have the bragging right when it comes to the ADC registration right now. If we went into a primary studio, we would struggle. But with everything that I have heard over, on spaces, over what, span of 1-2 years, we should be killing it. But we are not. We are far from it. If we're that organized to what Anala just said, that you are certain people you can chat with, down to your local government, why is it difficult for us to get people to get to work? We should be having people ready that as soon as PO touches ground, you are registering people. There's always the crowd is always there. They come around, they're interested and they're excited about it. But we don't just get work done, right? We don't get work done.
All
Guys,
right.
look. And I'm rounding up. 1 more minute, please. I'm rounding up. I'm not
Take
done. I'm
take take
sorry.
take 30 seconds. You've taken a lot of time already. This is 42 minutes past the
You
9. Other
eh,
speakers are waiting for you, and nobody has spoken for this long. So please just take 30 seconds and round up. Thank you.
so the other thing you said, oh, did you kind of really just start working, do things, do that? I have no problem with that. You're asking me to literally go do the things how we used to do it, and then I'm asking myself, then why the leadership structure? If you're asking me to go out, I don't have a problem with it. I'll do it. Look, let's even assume that is fine. I mean, that's acceptable. But what I will not accept is when there is no recognition. Like we pretend as if we don't see our people pulling in this work on the ground. We can't just even say, yo, I see what you're doing over there. How can we come in? How can we collaborate? What has been done? What is needed? What is lacking? There's Pio Minchi pulling in the work in rivers. There is, even from diaspora, I know a couple, Tamola is there, right? Peter will be last, but the guys are doing work on the ground, but it's as if the communication line between those people and leadership is like it's holy grail. It's not there. But when it's time for resources to go down, I said I was not going to say some things, but I think I should say this. When it's time for resources to get to these people who are pulling in this work, leadership shows up, right? You collect the resource, but you're not the one on the ground doing the work. You take the resources, you don't get it down there. And if anyone vests me this evening, I go start to the paste receipts everywhere. You take the resources, it doesn't get down to the soldiers on the ground, but you are not even doing the work. Like I started off saying, we have those who are just power drunk, right? They go out of that way. You were elected, fine. And this is our problem. And I don't blame people who do that. You were elected, you go out of your way to go and appoint somebody else. You know why you can do that? Because we don't have laws, no regulations. Everybody just do as they like. But what you did caused a problem back home. That has not been addressed. I won't mention names, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Like I said, we just have people who are power drunk. We're acting like we are confused, right? We are doing a lot of things wrong, right? If you ask me, Chris, what's the best organization? I don't have the answers. I might sit for weeks, for months, and stumble upon something, but I don't have the answers because we are that peculiar. But having a few people provide the lens via which millions of people will see through is a recipe for disaster. And I'll leave it there for now.
Okay, Dr. Sanko, go for it.
All right.
Dr. Sanko,
If Dr. Tanko is preparing to speak, we can move to the next speaker. Then he can speak after that. If he's not ready
can
to
speak.
respond.
No, I can respond. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right. So, thank you very much, Chris. And why I said don't water it down is the fact that, like His Excellency says, is that he loves the feedback. And the truth is, I believe that if you're doing real work, then you will not be scared of any feedback because your goal is to achieve results. So when the feedbacks come, You want to get it as raw as it is so that you can get there to do the work. Because what you are there for is to get the work done. Are there challenges in building the structure? Yes. And let's also explain something. We could say where we were before was very good. But the question is on what metrics are we measuring this? It's one thing for you to be driving a downfall and you're moving. And at a certain point, you say, okay, it is time for us to change to a Toyota. For you to change, you definitely will. Sorry, who is there? You would need to stop. So you're no longer moving as you were moving before. You probably will need to stop and highlight from the downfall and get into the other vehicle, check your fuel tank, check your tire pressure, put on your seatbelt, then you start rolling. So there might be some things that we are not accelerating at the point where we are, but the intention is there for us to accelerate. And we can do that as a collective. That is why we are here today. What we are here for is that we've identified that there are gaps. But if we can continue to speak to ourselves, create the feedback loops, anybody who does systems understand the fact that when you try to set up a process, you want to create a feedback loop where you are able to pick up the faults and fix them. Even no matter how perfect it is, you want to say, even when you buy products, they'll tell you the troubleshooting measures to say, okay, if this happens, do this, if this happens, do that. So what we are trying to build here, and this is why I am trying, this is important that we all get the message, because if we don't understand the goal, we would understand the journey. Our goal is to build a structure that is solid and it becomes an institution of governance in Nigeria. Now, certain things will take time to achieve that. Are there people that we have given positions of leadership that did not live up to capacity? Yes. Are there measures we're trying to say, okay, this is how we course correct? Yes. Have there been moments whereby we course corrected that we actually did the right thing and people still came out to say, no, you guys are doing the wrong? Yes. But as a collective, what we want to do here is over the next few months, set the standards to measure ourselves. When you set a goal, you want to make the goal smart. You want to have a very specific achievement to say, over the next few months, this is the number we're going to have per state. This is the number that must be registered. This is our financial goal. You want to measure it. You want to make sure that it is time bound. This is what we want to achieve. And we're saying all of us here should come and do that together. So it is not about the goal we hope, it's what can we set as a collective. Sometimes it's also important to know that desires abound, but the question is, do you have the resources to facilitate it? If all of us had a magic wand or a genie, we would just say set up a movement today and it will set up. But what we have today are humans who must speak to themselves, who must engage, who must go through that phase of storming, numbing to be able to progress. So it is a gradual process. And a critical part of that process is the feedback, and that is what we want to create today. We announced earlier on, you now have a council would meet. So there's no more unilateral decision making that a few persons. So nobody can say that now everybody is part of the decision making. Now everybody has access to know what is happening in the movement. The only reason you don't know is because you don't want to know. Because you have the Obidient update, which is going to provide updates. We're trying to get the bi-weekly newspaper newsletters out. The website is there. Now, we also need humans to help us move these things forward. Because it's one thing to say we want to have Twitter spaces where we give updates. Do we have the people who are going to volunteer to be able to moderate these spaces? Do we have the number of people who are going to help us to put together these letters? We want to do evidence-based opposition. Do we have people who are going to help us research and churn out the data? These are the questions. Where are you volunteering? Where are you applying yourself? And that is why we are saying today, we have not created the perfect vehicle. But what we've done today is we've created a perfect rendezvous point where everybody can come in, anybody who is interested in building that vehicle. There's the website, get registered, so that we can reach out to you, volunteer in one of the directorates. We're trying to sort out the funding because at the same time, we know funding is important. This will be the account in the next few weeks. We'll provide it. If you cannot give us this, can you provide funding for us to hire the skill sets to be able to move forward? The website we have today was built by resources. Were there challenges to raise that resources? Yes. If somebody maybe had come up earlier and said, okay, I'm going to give you people this XYZ amount to build the website, maybe it would have taken us a shorter time to do it. But in the absence of that, we had to make use of what we have. So permit me to say, we've done the best we can do. Is our best good enough? Certainly not. We all desire to have a movement that is a Ferrari at the moment. But the point is, are we creating a red level point where we are inviting everybody and we are removing all the barriers to say, don't say, I want to volunteer for media, but I've been trying to reach out to Naza. She has not responded. I've been trying to reach out to Dr. No, there's no more that excuse. Right now, if you go on the website, if you put your details, the people in the media team will take it. And if they don't reach out to you, when they come back to this space in 2 weeks' time, call them out. There will be regular updates. If you find out that your mobilization director is not doing well in your state, when they come back here to give the update, every 2 weeks, this is going to happen. So this is what we can offer at the moment as a way forward. At a certain point, we would review again. And everybody is welcome to bring ideas. How can we move it forward? Do we all have the perfect answer? No, because none of us has built a movement before. We are all in this. We're learning as we're moving on. We might have skill sets in running organizations and all that. We're bringing all that skill set. You have skill sets in media, bring that skill set. Sometimes decision will be made that might not favor you, but it is for the better good of everybody. One instance I will give, for example, I've always said we need to have a center point of His Excellency's communication. Like Twitter today, social media pays us. We need people to run our media organizations. Can we set up a YouTube channel for His Excellency so that we know that the revenue generated there is going to fund our media directorate? Can that happen? But if we do that and say we're going to center the communication, certain people will be like, oh no, why are you centering the communication? But the longer goal benefits us all. So these are the things that certain decisions at certain points will affect certain people negatively. But what we all need to bear in mind is there is a common goal to build a movement that is going to outlive all of us and a movement that is going to be a perfect Ferrari on the road. Thank you.
Dr. Tanko, would you like to chime in at this point? Dr. Tanko, can you?
Tanko is on the move. He's in and out, so I don't know. Maybe he's on the move.
Is he on the? Can you see him on the space now? I can see him on the space.
Space. I think he's a speaker, but I've been seeing him drop and come back up, so I don't know.
Okay, let's move to that. Let's move to Abiodun. Abiodun, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much for the mic again. Well, look, I have to say that I think the Obidient movement have not risen, to meet the task, to meet the enormity of the task before it. It may have recognized this task, but in my opinion, it has not risen fully to meet that enormous task before it. And this task encapsulates, many aspects of the Nigerian political, scene. The Obedient movement capacity to define our politics and define the type of politicians that should serve Nigeria. If we fully get ourselves together, we may be able to control to a large extent the type of politicians or government officials that we emerge in our government offices in many ways, fostering in this good governance and in many respects engaging them through qualified legal agreements, on promises And I mean promises on policies, and governance methods, and so on and so forth. So the obedient movement can rise, to become an interest holder in governance in Nigeria, where we can actually engage these politicians back to back on policy frameworks that they have agreed, with us. So if you consider what I'm saying, you see that it's actually practicable. For instance, Section 69 of the Nigerian Constitution, empowers the constituents to recall their senators or their representatives in the House. If a large members of that constituents are actually obedient, and we can start process of recall where, for instance, government officials that we have had an agreement with to pursue certain policies and all that fails to do so. Yeah. In fact, we can even have an impeachment procedure started, even at the state parliament, where a governor could be impeached, a governor that we have had an agreement with, and through the movement have become governor, and then fails, to perform in accordance with that agreement that we've had with him or her. We can start a process of having that governor, impeached. So all I'm saying is that the obedient movement has an opportunity to embrace an enormous task in the Nigerian political scene. And if we engage it squarely, we can, turn the Nigerian political scene, in the direction that we want it to go. Yeah. So that's all I have to say, really. I just think that the obedient movement may have recognized the task that is before it, but it has not reason to meet that enormous task. I think it should start embracing itself, because I think most of us have even recognized that we are the deal right now, spinning the Nigerian political circle. Everywhere in Nigeria, I'm talking about obedient. So I think we should rise to that occasion. Yeah, we have the brilliant minds in our midst, that are involved in different walks of life. We start using their expertise and their skills to get this movement doing what it really has been called to do. Yeah. So I will end by saying that I'm very much available. I am happy to assist any way that I can, especially with drafting agreements with anyone that is ready to use this movement to run to become governor, to become senator, and all that. Draft agreement back to back with them. That this is what if they're going to run with the obedient movement to become a governor or a senator, this is what we are going to agree with them. This is what we want them to do. This is what we want them to do. This is what we want them to achieve and all that. And if they don't, then we'll start the process of recalling them, start the process of impeaching them at the state senate or the state house of assembly or even the national house of assembly. Going through all the legal processes. This is how we can begin to be, affirm ourselves in the Nigerian political circle, so that these politicians and these government officials will be afraid of us. They know that yes, we mean what we're saying, because the Obidient movement is a movement of ideals. Say we carry Peter Obi's ideals and all that. And anybody that must use this movement, this way of movement to grow to
Sorry, please,
office.
can anybody hear me?
Oh, Dr.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank God. God will bless. I've been trying to get on the scenes. I've been having issues.
All right.
So please go on, so that if you give me time, I can now respond to some other issues that have been raised. Please.
All right.
Thank you.
Happy to have you back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back too.
All right, continue.
Okay, so I'm just going to land here by saying that we have the Obidient movement have a unique opportunity, to define itself in the Nigerian political scene. And in fact, we've had the opportunity since 2023. I think it's about time that we start using it, to shape who emerges as our government officials, and how they perform. And like I said, I would be glad to assist in any way to create this memorandum of understanding that we can usually, setting a working relationship we'll have with whoever emerges. For instance, if let me look for somebody here. Yeah, that's Dr. Soul. For instance, if Dr. Soul wants to run for governor, he must using the Obidient movement with, he must enter a memorandum of understanding with us, signed, sealed, and documented. That he must perform, he must do this and do that and do that. And so that if he doesn't do it, then we'll start an impeachment process through the state parliament. So on with anybody that wants to become senator. Run with the Obidient movement, become senator. We must have an agreement with these people to deliver and deliver. If they don't deliver, we'll start a recall. That's what I think the Obidient movement should be. The Obidient movement should be an interest in the Nigerian politics, affirming itself there, so that this political calendar Nigeria has.
Oh, can't hear him anymore.
Sorry about that. I think before you know what's happening,
Okay.
Before you know what's happening, the Obidient movement will not be the one defining Nigerian political status quo. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abiodun. Dr. Sanko, you can come in now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. I've been listening and trying to talk, but of course the network didn't allow me to talk. But I listened to quite a number of issues being raised and questions as regard to the issue of mobilization, how we want Peter Obi to win the primaries and all. Then, of course, I listened to Chris, and then I just wanted to respond to some of these things. And please, as I said before, the issue of winning a primary, there are two positions that are being touted by the party according to Electoral Act 2026. You either go for a consensus or you have a direct primary. And direct primary, as I said, require mobilization into the polling units or the ward, as the case may be. So we have to mobilize people to be at the ward of every political party. Everybody that wants him to be the candidate of the ADC as it stands today must be part of the party in that ward. For the consensus, some of the candidates, from the graveyard information I have, some of the candidates do not agree for a consensus. And according to the Electoral Act, everybody that is contesting election who has bought forms and who has been cleared to run for election in the party must agree in writing that he agreed to a consensus candidate. Yes, before you can do that, all of them, as I said, must agree. So at this case, some of them have said they will not agree for a consensus. So it's going to be a direct primary. We have a right now to mobilize people, and I'm not throwing numbers here. When we have the opportunity to continue to mobilize, we said is some are skeptical about the party. Some do not even want to join because they don't believe that Peter Obi will get the ticket in ADC. So they decide to sit on the fence. So if you decide to sit on the fence, and if others mobilize people into their own ward and present the primaries, who do we blame? Because we didn't do that. The idea of mobilization, some people want to help, and I can say it here. Magnificent Dude and some other persons generated funds and brought in one of your guys who came down to Nigeria to support those particular people in terms of mobilizations. He didn't give anybody any money. He did it directly to the people, at least the ones I witnessed. The ones that we direct people to give to, it was given to them directly. And they mobilized. And we even direct, and those who were given to some of the accounts that were given to some other person, we make sure that they direct those particular funds to those particular places because we want to build trust in terms of funding. Even though it's not enough, but at least it was something and it helped. And it was accounted for. And with regard to, a while ago, I was listening to Chris, I was about saying that I have not seen Chris on this space. Because if I don't see Chris in this space, it's like this space is not complete because he must give us those particular criticism of him that enable us to improve on whatever we are doing. Because quite honestly, Chris just dwell on criticisms. And for me, those criticisms help me. And I will explain why. Please, Chris, which state are you from? I know you are not in Nigeria. Which state are you from? Can somebody help me?
He's from Edo State.
I don't know the state. But let's assume.
What happened? Can't hear Dr. Tanko anymore.
Anoyagu is
Okay.
eh?
Please
Hello?
go on. Please go on.
Yes,
Go on.
Anoyagu was our lead coordinator in Anambra. In Anambra State, all the local government, I did not create numbers. I saw them myself. I was in almost 3 major local government. When we presented that particular numbers, we presented it with the fact of the people that we saw on ground. Not only that, I posted those particular people on ground. We had meetings with them, and they told us their challenges. The problem we had in Anambra was simple. The candidate was asked to provide the little resources that he has in cash. He did not. He did not. And anybody that was in Anambra, all of the teams that we work together with Anambra can attest to it. And let me also inform you that the numbers that we are touting is not as if we are making them. No. These are physical people that we know. While I ask you which state are you from, if you tell me the state, I can tell you the coordinator, you can reach out to him. I can tell you also the local government word by word, the number of 33 persons and their phone numbers. You can verify them. But you see, the difference here is this. Politics, as you discuss on social media and you discuss one-on-one, is different from the day of elections. On the day of election, it is the actual funding that you have that speaks for you and how you apply it. I saw this openly with my local eyes in Anambra. We didn't create any numbers. The people were promised that they will be giving money to mobilize them, not to put into their pocket. No, just for them to do their work. It was not provided. It was not provided. So who do we blame in this regard? Who? Is it we that work hard to ensure that the structures are on ground? Or those who are supposed to provide the resources that did not provide it? A case in example is here. While you are giving us good criticisms, I want to use your state as a template. I want to use your state as a template. Please tell us your state, then we mobilize together with you, your only input, how you think we can do this thing. How you think we can move these people, how you think we can effect some of these good criticisms that you have, so that we can implement it on ground. Then you will be satisfied and appreciate the little effort that we are putting in. We are not politicians that don't know or be on ground to know what is happening. No. We are constrained, we know our constraints. Are we ready to put in our best? Yes, we are. Do we have the resources to do that? We don't. Can we get it? Yes, we can. So if we put all of these things together, you will see the enormous result that we will. If you are to know, I just give you a clinical example. Clinical example. I am not mixing word. I'm saying it right here. Within 1 week, if you can provide each and every member of one person from the 176,000 people that we have, give us a date, we will mobilize them into a venue. If you can provide that particular form, this is an open challenge to me, not to anybody, to me. Anybody that can do that for us and say we are providing the 4,800 and something for Anambra State, this X amount of money, or you pay them directly by the transport money, not giving them money to do that. We want you to assemble in so place. It's a challenge. Please provide it, and you will see these numbers. So please have a little bit of appreciation to what we are doing. I'm not saying you should not criticize us. Criticize. But criticize with facts of what we have done. Don't just criticize us without thinking that we have done something whatsoever. With all due respect, 2023, we didn't have any structure. It was amorphous. The issue was that many people make a lot of money and then they left. We hybrid this particular leadership into two. Those support group can continue the way they are. We will have a core group. Have we done wrong? Have we done wrong by trying to carry all of those? And now we have confirmed. You can call. We give you the numbers. Call every one of them. It's not as if they came. Call them where they are existing in that place or not. So, gentlemen, it is ours to build and ours to destroy. Even by giving us negative criticisms, some people will feel discouraged that I'm putting up this particular level. But yet I have not been appreciated, just like you said. We appreciate everybody and we want to appreciate more, but we need to do work together. Area that we are fall short, please provide answers. You can provide answers and be active in providing that answers. We are giving the best we can under very difficult circumstances. To a point that even when we arrive at the airport, some of our leaders will say we don't want crowd. We don't want crowd. Don't mobilize this kind of crowd to us here. Because we are not campaigning. And this is 4 years stretch. Within 4 years stretch of the time of election 2003 to this 2006, you can imagine what must have gone down the drain. People are being offered money that we are not offering. This sway their own conscience. People are being manipulated. People are being intimidated. We still remain. How about now? We deserve a little bit of kudos. Yes, we are not perfect. We have not reached that position yet. But yes, we are pushing. It's a commitment we've taken. God bless all of us. So for me, we are ready. Anytime you can help or do something, help does not mean that probably we are incapacitated, we cannot do it also. No, you have ideas, you have funding where we can raise funds independently. Let's do it. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Tanko. All right, let's hear from Osaritin. Osaritin Omosio. Go for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Obedience. It's a magnitude. Dr. Yanusa Tanko, the Lord is your strength. You know, I salute you. I salute your courage. It's an enormous task, like everybody has said. You know, it's not easy. The goal is to keep the obedient mobilization very broad, and maybe people might not be seeing it the way they want to see it. You know, and people does not want this kind of movement to die down the flame in the obedient system. And I like the concluding part of what you said, that everything should be on fact so that those outside or those hearers will feel like, oh, the discouragement will not be so alarming. So if anybody is saying anything, oh, I have my state, Edo State. Or Edo State, the obedient coordinator there, this is what he did, fact and figure, this is a witness, you know. Those are the kind way we can carry this thing up. And I like one salient point you made. Uh, that is the area I want to hammer on. It's salient, but it's a conscience thing. Where that word intimidation, the people are looking for. I think Eunice Atanko should be, if he's Man U, Arsenal, and Chelsea now, Real Madrid, you will be one of the most viable player to buy now. Anybody who buy Eunice Atanko now looks like he has bought, politicians are looking for you in the opposition to buy. That's true. And that is where I want to speak into. And when Chris made a point of appointing someone, that is another thing. You see, you can veg for yourself because your shadow cannot do anything on your behalf. That is for you. For the next person, You only use the word trust and whatever the person tells you when you are no longer seeing the person. So that is where I'm actually keen about your zeal and your compassion is already tested for years now. And now this is where we are. A brother shared on this platform, there were some obedient who we think is obedient that were marching, pulling units. They were even the one negotiating with the big parties, how far, anything for me, so that I can throw away my eye, you do anything. Before we now see those that the party will call and lobby. So, but these people were just there to just quickly grab. They were not in that spirit of what we have, was not in them. So, if we have such persons like this, and my little fear is, what about if they deflate our tire with this kind of character among the people appointed in each state or local government or whichever way we plan it or you guys have arranged it? 2 weeks to election, we see them granting press interview saying we the obedient in XYZ zone, we are supporting, that means deflecting away from our side. So these are the things that you as the head I see as a very difficult and something you must be very concerned about. That everyone that flags that your thought of obedience must be in that spirit tested with integrity. I won't speak too much on that. I believe everyone understand. Then the way I see obedient to be, we are not yet there. The vision is actually broad. So I believe that when David made his own, he talks about elected office. But when I look at my own scope of obedience, I see it as a force that there will be a day, it will not be Peter Obi alone. Before somebody like me or Saretin will say, I want to be a councillor, I want to be a chairman, I want to be a governor, that test of track record of integrity must be number one. Then before we check competency. So that means we become a voice, like David said. We become a body that you can't just push over. Just like the way politics is today, you know, the North will not just say we can give the vote and win. The need South will not say we can give the vote and win. We need not. So you will either need, then when you now go for the sixth geopolitical zone, you begin to hustle. So I want Obedient to get to that scope, because what we're looking at is not just Obi. Even if Obi is doing 20 years, that means it should be longer than that, let alone we're looking at this short time. So that is the scope of the kind of obedience we're looking at. And Obedient who can sue, who can reprobate and approbate, you know. Obedient who can check government policy and ask why. Obedient who will be able to collate data that channels and every other TV station would not like to show based on regulation. Obedient will be the one showcasing them in a step-by-step movement. That's the kind of obedience. So in all, I will salute your leadership. I will salute you guys' work. Whatever we suggest here, it shouldn't be harming anyone. We must actually say thank you for the journey thus far. What we need is to do more, because every one of you is in the eye of the storm and people are following you guys around the temptation area. Thank God you guys are overcoming it. To keep looking after you guys. And that is all I could say so that others could speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that submission, Authority. We are going to take Saul next. So the list is going to be Saul, Eche, Moktajid, Karigwe, then Ibrahim and Olabest. So,
Okay.
Saul, please take
Thank
it
you.
away.
Thank you, Dr. Nasser, and thank you everyone on the space. We have been listening from the beginning, and obviously this has been organized and put together by the Obedient Movement and its leadership. And you
Hey,
see,
1 second, Saul. I think Saul needs to be introduced to everybody
no, it's
so
okay.
they know where he's
I'll
at.
introduce myself at
Yeah,
some point.
no, okay, go ahead and do it yourself.
Yeah.
I wanted to help you out, but that's okay.
That's fine. That's fine. Thanks, Mike. Just like I said, this has been put together by the Obedient leadership, to be honest, headed by Dr. Tanko. And I'm one of the Obedient movement leaders from the collegiate in Europe, all three of us. So I'll speak from that point of view, if you guys don't mind, just so I can highlight a few things from a diaspora point of view that we've been working on, and at the same time, maybe it aligns with a few concerns that has been raised as well. But firstly, I must congratulate and thank Analu for what he has done so far. You see, the thing about the movement, I think someone said, we are a movement, and in a movement, it's not politics. So I think we're seeking, we have to be factual about things. We don't have to like each other. But as long as we are all ignited by purpose and guided by principles and sustain that principles with passion, we have a very clear ideology. That is why I absolutely love the Obedient movement, and everybody knows I've been a member for since it started, and so many of you here on the space, we've all walked our journey together. So my point is, we have to see what the movement is doing and where it's impacting, and what we're actually trying to achieve as a collective, not just from a linear point of view. Opinions are welcome, definitely, but if you look at it from what we are all trying to achieve, you would see that this little incremental progress that is happening, it wasn't there 3 years ago. I can testify for that. It wasn't here even as early as last year when issues started happening and this new structure came into place. If you ask me what is working perfectly, I will tell you without the drop of a hat, there is progress. There's progress in our engagement. There's progress in our strengthening the grassroots engagement and community cohesion going on. All this, we have the data to verify. There's progress in the drive to even civic education and leadership development on ground. This is way beyond politics now because everybody has talked about politics, but we haven't mentioned the activities we're doing on ground as a movement. We haven't mentioned advocacy because there's time for that, and this is part of the time for it. There's progress to accelerate PVC registration across Nigeria, and I've been part of these things. So these are things that humble me. When you see average Nigerians, you say, please, can you go and register somebody? And they go there even with their money. They come back and give you feedback. These are obedient projects. When you see people in places like Ethiopia and all of those other places doing things for their community, these are obedient projects that we don't necessarily bring to the front line. But at some point we have to, and I thank God that we put this fortnightly engagement where we do it internally and come out and showcase what we have done. Nobody knows about the in-house fighting. We all fight inside the house, but we'll come out and put a brave face because to move, you have to get rid of friction. So all the criticisms are welcome. But the fact of the matter is, if we are to move this movement from where we are now, we have to strengthen the pillars that we operate by, which is we have to get involved. We have to get involved. If you're not sure about what's going on, like Kanalu said, on the website, you will see who your leader is. Go and see what it's doing. I'm from Edo State. Regardless of whether I was a leader or not, the first thing I had to do was who is in charge of the obedience in Edo State? And the guy is doing a fantastic job. If you talk about someone who's outspoken, that guy is outspoken, but he would work his ass off to make sure that the movement is moving. So far, we have seen an alignment emerge from diaspora, especially from Europe, because that is our main focus. While the Asia, they're doing their own from a political point of view, and then the Americas are doing their own from a rallying point of view and mobilizational point of view. Now, Europe is almost focused on the grassroots side of things and creating narratives that can bring us together, either through community bridging projects and town hall projects and all this stuff. That's how we've decided to roll. But what is key here is that it is not a linear approach to solving this problem of Nigeria, but we are in a very good position as a movement to make sure we integrate, to make sure we develop things, to make sure we have civic and leadership engagements going on, even amongst us. Make sure that the young people are coming on. Is why you see situations where we have a lot of people on X, a lot of young people. Their obedience as well. There has to be a safe haven where they can engage and express themselves. Obedience are providing this without even knowing. That is the organic nature of the beauty of this thing that we must leverage off. It's all well and good. We'll come out and call one or two people for doing X or Y things we don't like. That is absolutely brilliant. That's what we want, so we can know what to change. But the fact of the matter is, like Dr. Tanko rightfully said, we have the right data to scale and measure our projects, our progress. You can see what is happening online. I was very skeptical at initial stage, wasn't a big fan of Dr. Tanko, but when I look at the scale of what he's been doing, I had to come back and say, well done, sir. I wasn't a big fan of what's going on online, but when I looked at the system, it didn't take me to understand the effort that has gone into that system. All of this, and we are all part of it, free, not funded. People are doing it by themselves. Come on, guys. We need to, at some point, pat ourselves on the back and say, progressively, we have done a fantastic job as a collective. If we are to push for a new Nigeria, which is our ideology behind all this, we must be able to see and leverage what we're doing off one another. You don't have to like the person, but at least understand what they are doing and what their purpose is, and make sure that purpose aligns with your own passion. And guess what? Guide all these things by the principles that we need to make sure Nigeria is a better place. That is all that matters at the end of the day. Honestly, we're doing a deep dive. I'll round up in 1 minute. We're doing a deep dive into making sure that leadership is not about, hey, you know what, you did this, you do that. It's about understanding what we are supposed to do as a collective, not from one person, what we're supposed to do as a movement. What are we moving? Are we moving to rally? Are we moving to protest? Are we moving to mobilize? Are we moving to raise funds? If we're not moving to do all these things, then we're just sitting there looking at things not working from one own lens, then you're not part of the project. So what I would say is, please get involved. Check the website out. Contact the people you need to contact. Personally, my blessing for me is that from the 31st of December to today, the 26th of October, if I haven't spoken to Nigerians, nothing less than 200, nothing else would have given me that opportunity if I wasn't ready to serve. And that is what we put ourselves forward to serve. And those hundreds of Nigerians we've been speaking to, this is outside of the Obidient projects that were existing before. So we're a formidable force, and nobody can tell us otherwise. No matter any kind of movement that springs up today, tomorrow, or next tomorrow, the Obidient movement under the leadership of Peter Obi is the best thing that has happened to Nigeria in a very long time. So we can either make it work by getting our asses together, pull our finger out and get to work and make this thing work for the betterment of Nigeria, or we can, sit and throw our toys out of the pram. But for me, and for what I know, and for what I've seen, Dr. Unita Tanko, who is our leader, he does not sleep. If he tells you his personal problems here today, you'll be amazed. Always on the phone, always in one meeting. You will send him a message, he will reply. And this is the kind of thing that we are cascading as well by making ourselves available. Every one of us who has been appointed any kind of leadership position, we're making ourselves available so we can simply serve. That's the key word. So thank you. I just wanted to sanitize that. There's 101 things we do. But going forward, as we have these 2 weekly things, we would give updates and receipts. We have receipts in abundance of what we've done on a daily, on a weekly, on the hourly basis. If that's what people need to see, then we will drop it by all means. But until then, let's focus on what we need to do as a movement, please. There's advocacy, there's a political side, there's civic engagement, there's a whole bunch of things you can get involved if you want to, if you choose to. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that contribution. So the next person we're going to take is Eche. So after Eche, we're gonna have Muktajid Karigwe. Then we're going to have Ibrahim, then Olabest, and the last person for the shift is Damola, Duke of Ife.
Sorry, let me just say something before you go. Let me say something before you go, Eche. Guys, please forgive us, bear with us. We have a lot of requests, but we are pressed for time and we won't be able to have everybody. Even if we open it up, we'll still be here till 12 and we'll still not have everybody. We have over 450 people here. So imagine how many requests we already have. So if we're not able to bring you up on the speaker corner, please bear with us. We're just trying to manage the time. We were supposed to have this for 180 minutes, but look at that. It's 10:31 now. So if we're not able to bring you up, just know that it wasn't because we didn't want to bring you up. It's because we couldn't bring you up, please. And there are some people we have tried to bring up many times repeatedly, but we bring them up, they drop again. We bring them up, they drop again. Glitches with you know how Twitter space goes. Thank you for understanding. Eche, go.
Okay, thank you very much. I greet everybody in the house. Before I start, I must commend each of every one of us. I believe that we are doing our best to make sure that everything works out fine. Uh, I will try to turn it down a bit, but I will still try to be blunt. That's me for you. In as much we are trying here to make things work out for us. But I believe that if we refuse to iron out the primary assignment, all this our effort is going to be like effort in futility. And nobody here wants that to happen. Because to be honest with you, I wouldn't in my life having a kind of 80% advantage over something or over somebody. And along the line, and now started having the kind of calculation we do when Nigeria is playing World Cup qualified. Let these people play 1-1. Let these people, if these people should play 2-0. That's what we are doing now. And it doesn't make sense to me. You have something you're supposed to leverage on. You allow those things slip off your fingers. Look at us today. We were in Ibadan the other day. Other political parties have zoned their ticket to the south. PDP, they said that they are going to endorse all of them. They are going to endorse one particular candidate. Why wouldn't they tell the agency to do the right thing? Those people that said it, they have already zoned their ticket to the south. All these people in ADC leadership, they know exactly what they're doing. Why are they afraid? What are they afraid of? We shouldn't come here be lying to ourselves. Because at the end of all these things, you see all this. Let me tell you guys the truth. Tell P2B, millions of hope. They are all millions of Nigerians are all hoping on PO. Millions of Nigerians are hoping on PO. And we know that this APC, they enacted this new law because of PO. What are we doing about it? What are we doing to overcome all this their nonsense? What are we doing? And now look at 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. We are here calculating, do this, do that, register. Let me be honest with you. Anything that we make PO go into that primary article, PO will lose out. And once you lose out, OT will be that. If they don't want to agree on consensus, either PO will leave that party for them. We did it in 2023. And now we're having Kwankwaso by our side. Are you guys not seeing it? These people know that without PO, that ADC is as useless as P in psychology. We have to tell ourselves the truth. They want to use it to climb to Aso Rock. Who doesn't know that? And we are just sugarcoating war. We can't just tell ourselves the truth. See, look at the leadership. They know the right thing to do, but they don't want to do it. The same thing they did in 2022 in PDP. They still want to repeat the same thing here. And we are here sugarcoating words. Many people, kids, adults, many people, many reasonable people, they are hoping on PO. And now look at the way they want to bust PO in the corner. And they're telling us not to speak. See, to be honest with you, tell PO the truth. If PO gets into that primary with article, PO is going to lose out. I kid you not, mark it.
If PO gets into that primary issue that he's going to lose out. Because the truth of the matter, those in leadership, they don't even, many of them don't even want PO to be there. They don't even want PO. Look at their body languages. Look at all the things they are doing. Look at their gimmicks. The best thing, PO should have leveraged on his popularity to get things done, to get what he wanted. Now look at where we are today. If they don't want to agree on consensus, PO better leave there with Kwakwaso. We appreciate that. It's not being to enter that lion's den. You know what I'm saying? Let us not come here because after that primaries, there's no remedy again. There's no remedy. That's nothing we are going to do again. All these hopes you are seeing, all this smile you are seeing, all this love you are seeing in people's face, it be gone. And what are we going to do about it? Nothing. Or you think people will still have morale to come and be doing obedient or not, or obedient movement. You think people will have the strength to come out again? See, you guys have to do what you guys have to do to make the reality of
missions, succinct and brief so that we can let the others speak. Okay. I know the next person was supposed to be Muktajid, but please, can we take a lady? There's a lady in the speaker section because this whole time we've been having guys speak. I'm the virtue of, me being here. So Prinzella, please contribute. Thank you. And then we can resume the roster. Thank you very much.
All right. Good day, everyone. Good day to wherever we're spacing from. So, I saw the space. I just came in, but I came in when they were talking about the movement, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. The strengths, I'll just go straight to it, so I don't bore you guys. So far we have strength, we have weaknesses. Strength of the movement is our numbers, right? And we have the strength of the leadership, obviously the weaknesses, and how I like them on. I like the strengths and where I feel they should do better. Now, for the strength, I feel they sort of pass information. Let me say on, I can't say social media, but for WhatsApp, at least that one they're trying. Another thing is the aspect that Dr. Tanko seemed to be very loyal to PO so far. I applaud him for that since 2023 because a lot of persons have come and gone. And there are so many projects that have come up ever since, insightful projects, which is highly commendable. Now, for the weaknesses, one, communication. The communication of the movements from the leadership is very poor. For example, you're going to a state. I'll give you an example. Let's say Edo State or your state. You don't even communicate with your state coordinators. How do you do that? Your state coordinators will be finding out on that day and will be going through backdoor. What is the essence of a state coordinator if you don't communicate with them? PO is coming to their states and they don't know. It is bad. Please work on that. Then communication via social media platform. I feel like we have not harnessed Facebook enough, Facebook and TikTok. I feel we just dwell so much on X. And yes, followers have their part to play, but it trickles from the top down to the bottom. So I think proper channel of communication in such a way that something is happening would be informed early and there will be proper strategy. If there are proper communication, I believe by now, I don't know, the numbers will be better in terms of, because I remember when we started the old registration, ADC and all that, Duke can bear me witness. On Facebook, in fact, Facebook was aloof. They did not know what was going on. I had to join so many groups and some other persons, Duke and some other persons, we had to join and start telling people. People did not know anything. And it was really disturbing. And same thing as TikTok. Please work on your communication. Two, when there is funds given for for a certain thing, please use it for what it is. When they give money for mobilization, ADC registration, let that money get to foot soldiers. There are times where I've hosted spaces or I've co-hosted spaces and I've seen people come to complain that, oh, they didn't get funds. Some people say they've acted as agents, or I think agents in the last AMAC election, they weren't paid and some other things. It is not good enough. And there were funds that were raised for this. So it makes, and the thing with this thing is trust because of another time. Because by the time people donate and it looks like, oh, what they are not seeing results for whatever they raised this money for, it will be very hard to come back to these people next time that, oh, let's raise funds. They will be like, the other time they've done that, they are not seeing it for what it is. This ADC registration, I am very sure funds have been raised, but it's like the numbers is not reflecting. If you're giving money for ADC registration, either from PO or from anybody, use it for that. Let it show. Use it for it. This is not time where I'm going to hide my emotions. Use it for what it is so that we don't start exposing our